I'm Sam Bradford. Welcome to my city.
I know you got your own town. I know you got your own ways. I know there's no place like home, but I know you're gonna like it in my city. Everybody's welcome here. Everybody welcome to my city. We ain't got no worries here. I know you're gonna like it in my city.
Bradford throws, caught by Cook, turning up to the end zone.
Music plays on and on.
Kaepernick, phenomenal. Let's go.
Come on and welcome to my city. Everybody's welcome here. Everybody welcome to my city. Come on, come on. You ain't never had a party till you come to a party in my city.
And tonight, our city is St. Louis. And our matchup in the NFC West, it's the San Francisco 49ers and the St. Louis Rams from the Edward Jones Dome here in St. Louis. Welcome, everybody. Brad Netzler along with Mike Mayock, and we welcome you to the beginning of Week 4 of the NFL season. Both teams are 1-2. They had hoped for better, especially the 49ers after winning the NFC Championship a year ago. But they started like gangbusters, Mike. They hammered the Packers, but in subsequent weeks, losses to the Seahawks and then the Colts by a combined score of 56-10. And everybody's saying, what's wrong with the 49ers?
Look, it's a different team than last year. When you lose playmakers like Crabtree, all of a sudden it changes the whole game plan. And look, when you look at their quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, for me, he's only started 14 games. To me, he's still a rookie. Now, when Kaepernick gets his legs under him, when they run the ball physically and effectively, he's a completely different guy. So I think they got to get back to the future. Run the football, play action, let him get out on the edge.
The Rams went 1-0-1 against the 49ers last year. Their problem's been scoring points in the first quarter. If you go back to last year, they've gone 9 games without scoring in the first quarter. You talk about a team that needs a fast start.
You got to get your playmakers involved early, and I think that starts with Jared Cook, the tight end. Paid him a lot of money in the offseason. Big dividends week 1, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns. Let's get him re-involved. But the real deal, I think, is Tavon Austin, first-round pick out of West Virginia. They'll line him up in the slot. They'll line him up wide. Brad, they will even line him up at tailback. He needs 20 to 25 touches, and they got to find a way to shake him loose because he's a playmaker.
He's got 18 catches, but a lot of short ones. Before we kick off, we get down third member of our team, Alex Flanagan. Alex?
Hey, Brad and Michael. Meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers are trying to find the defensive dominance that they played with last season. They're going to have to try and return to that tonight without star linebacker Patrick Willis. He is sidelined tonight with a groin injury. I spoke with linebackers coach Jim Leavitt just a little while ago, and I asked him, where do you most miss Patrick Willis? And he told me in communication and leadership. Those responsibilities tonight will fall on the shoulders of Navarro Bowman. Leavitt telling me tonight that how he handles the leadership and communication tonight with this defense, you guys, will determine whether or not it gets on track here in St. Louis.
All right, Alex. Jim Harbaugh losing back-to-back games for the first time as an NFL coach. And on the other side, Jeff Fisher in his second season as a head man here in St. Louis with 150 career wins. You think it's important to win this game? When you're 1-2, you don't want to end up 1-3, or you got problems if you're thinking about playoffs. San Francisco won the toss and deferred. So Phil Dawson will kick away, and Benny Cunningham is back deep. Week 4 of the NFL season underway, and this one will go out in the back of the end zone. And the Rams will start from the 20-yard line. So Sam Bradford, the overall #1 choice out of Oklahoma after winning the Heisman Trophy 2010. Never thrown an interception against this team. And he's 2-1-1 against the 49ers, which is not too bad.
And Brad, he's averaging 47 attempts a game, which is too many. They've got to run the football. I think they'll spread the field a little bit, but they've got to stay persistent with the run game.
And that run game is Daryl Richardson right now behind Sam Bradford on first down. 2 tight ends set to open things. And Bradford wants to throw and does, completing out. Chris Gibbons, 1 play, 1 first down. We take a look at the offensive difference makers tonight. for St. Louis. Jared Cook, you mentioned him, the big tight end, and Austin Pettis, we've already seen him make a contribution.
Yeah, and I think Sam Bradford really trusts him. He's one of the receivers. He knows where he's going to be. He's a big-bodied guy, and Bradford will put it on him.
Cook comes out as the receiver to the bottom of your screen on first down. The Rams at their own 33-yard line. And here's Richardson. Got out to the 35, maybe the 36, where Justin Smith was in on the stop, and he's usually around the football. Been around a long time. And Justin Smith, Navarro Bowman, Alex talked about Navarro Bowman. Justin Smith, coaches just look at him and go, he's a man.
13 years in this league. He's one of the guys that plays 50 snaps plus a game, can push the pocket in the pass, and you can't run against him at all.
Second down and 8. Corey Harkey, the motion man. Play action for Bradford. Fires near sideline, incomplete. Gibbons was the intended receiver. Terrell Brown made the play. So Terrell Brown and Gibbons with a little chatter on the way back to the huddle with a third down.
Tried to move the pocket there. Remember, 6 sacks a week ago. You got to do different things to protect your quarterback. One is moving the pocket and changing the launch point. Sam Bradford, not a real mobile quarterback, but kind of nifty with his feet.
The Rams were terrible against Dallas on third down. 1 of 13. Here's their first third down and long. Bradford pressured, fires complete. That's going to be very close to a first down to Austin Pettis. And I think they're going to give it to him. So you just mentioned that those guys have a special bond, and it's shown up twice here in the opening drive.
There's an important characteristic when a quarterback trusts a wide receiver. He's still trying to develop it with Tavon Austin. Watch what this is cover 2 man. 2 deep safeties, man underneath. He's looking for him the whole way, and he trusts that the big-bodied wide receiver is going to win back inside and puts it on him.
In just his third year, he's the longest tenured wide receiver on this team. That tells you how young the Rams are. In fact, the youngest team in the league at just a little over 25 years of age on average. Ahmad Brooks with the tackle on Richardson. We mentioned you don't want to be 1-3. No team made the playoffs last year after starting 1-3. 2-2, a little better chance.
Yeah, kind of a benchmark game tonight, right? Yep. Hate to say it, but lose or go home.
Could be the case.
Neither coach would agree with that, and I'm just teasing. It's a long season, but man, this is a big night for both teams.
Here's a stretch play. Richardson trying to take it wide. The 49ers are there to drop him for a loss. Dante Whitner came up from the secondary to make the stop.
Yeah, and you got to win at the point of attack. They talk about setting an edge either offensively or defensively. Lance Kendricks is not a great blocker, and he's a better receiver. Watch what Ahmad Brooks does to him. That's setting an edge. Try to bounce it outside. Not only do you get your blocker, but you get a piece of the tackle. Really nice job by Ahmad Brooks.
7th play of the opening drive. And again, a long yardage, third down for Bradford and company. A bunch set to the left, and now Tavon Austin's going to go in motion.
Get him the ball.
High snap. Bradford hit as he throws, and the ball knocked down at the line. They were trying to get it to number 11.
Yeah, I think Bowman got a piece of it, and they did have Austin. Austin sat it down at the first down marker, and Navarro Bowman got his big paw up there. He knows what he has. Bowman gets a piece, and that forces the punt.
And the punt will come from Johnny Hecker. Kyle Williams waits back on the other end around the 10-yard line. Hecker a mile high here inside the dome, and the fair catch interfered with on the fair catch, I think, but right now the Rams have the ball, but the flag flies in.
Yeah,
somebody got a piece of him. I think Ray Armstrong hit him as he was trying to field that punt.
it's a good call, Brad. There was interference. You got to give him an opportunity to catch the football, and it was Ray Armstrong, the rookie free agent out of the University of Miami. See number 50 flash from the left of your screen. Actually, a couple different guys getting in the way there. Armstrong was one, as was Eugene Sims.
And Ray, that's a no-no.
I was looking for him the other day. I wanted to ask him why the redundant first name. I'm not sure I get that one. But
Rams have now 10 penalties on special teams this season. That's a league high. So Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers with their first possession.
Kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
We'll see the 49ers on offense here in St. Louis for the first time when we come back. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Gravity from Warner Brothers Pictures in theaters October 4th. And by GMC. Vote for the Never Say Never moment of the week at NFL.com/GMC. It's a good starting field position for the 49ers. After the penalty, they'll work at the 34-yard line. Frank Gore, the tailback, in the eye behind Bruce Miller. And immediately, we got contact and flags.
Encroachment. Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
not a good start.
Nope.
Poor job on special teams, cost you 15. Now, before you can even get to the first offensive snap of the game, another 5. That's a gift of 20 yards.
So a 1st and 5 at the 39. Anquan Boldin, the lone wide receiver. Kaepernick with the throw to the fullback for the first down. On around midfield is Bruce Miller.
And Brad, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Play action, downhill. Get this kid out on the edge. It doesn't all have to be zone read.
Week 1, sensational, much like the end of last year and the playoffs. The last 2 weeks, not so good.
I think defenses around the league are doing a much better job this year of the quarterback run packages, so they've got to show more than that.
And now it's Gore, and Frank Gore to the second level and inside the 35, down to the 32-yard line. James Laurinaitis had to bring him down, but they gash the Rams defense for 18 yards.
Yeah, and you're going to get a wham block by the tight end coming in motion, and then watch the fullback get in right behind. So 2 big bodies. There it is on the nose tackle. This is a great job right there. Good block, good cut by Gore. Missed tackle by McDonald. He had 3 last week. He's got to do a better job coming up from safety.
Gore starting where he started last week. Started strong against Indianapolis and then wasn't used very much in the second half. Kaepernick rolls out, throws on the run, kind of a dangerous pass, but incomplete. Difference makers for the 49ers tonight. You've already seen one, Frank Gore. Anquan Boldin has really been their only offense as far as a wide receiver.
He's got 19 receptions this year, but 13 of them came in week 1. A lot of double teams since then.
13 for over 200 yards in the opening game against Green Bay. He comes out as the lone wide out to the near side. And slipping and going down is Frank Gore. Actually lost a yard. Rams defense trying to hold on here on the opening drive for San Francisco. Robert Quinn and Chris Long, bookends on the defensive front, and there are a couple good ones.
Both first-round picks. Quinn, to me, is one of the most gifted edge rushers in the game, and Long is one of the toughest football players in this league.
49ers have been terrible on 3rd down and 10+. They've got 3rd down and 11 here. Draw play to Hunter, and he's going nowhere. Laurinaitis has got him all wrapped up for another loss.
You know what? This is a Jim Laurinaitis kind of game now. You know, this is a power football game. 3rd and long, you look for draw and screen, right? Well, look at how quickly he reacts to draw all over Kendall Hunter. That's a veteran who understands his responsibilities, quick react, and a sure tackle.
How about an every down linebacker? Hasn't missed a snap in 3 years.
Isn't that something? Only guy in the league that hasn't missed one on defense in the last 3.
Phil Dawson will try a 53-yard field goal. And it's going to go wide right. So an opportunity missed, but the Rams hold. They'll get it back on offense with 9:06 to go first quarter. He'd hit his last 7 from that distance, but not this time. Tuesday, Steve Sable's impact on the NFL was like no other. He was an innovator who transformed football into theater. The legacy of the man behind NFL Films, Steve Sable of Football Life, coming up Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, only on NFL Network. I know you knew him well. I know you're going to be part of that show on Tuesday.
One of the most special people I've ever met in my life, Brad. He was instrumental in helping me start my career, and working in his building at NFL Films was like watching a bunch of Picassos go to work. And it all started because of Steve. He was just awesome.
Basically, all the cool stuff you see was started by NFL Films. After the missed field goal, the Rams work from their own 43-yard line. Play action. Bradford steps up, fires, caught, and a nice catch by Brian Quick. Penalty marker in the Rams backfield.
You know what's interesting? They need more production out of Brian Quick.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 94 in the defense.
Brian Quick, to me, was a second-round pick from Appalachian State. He's a big-body guy, 6'3", 218, average speed. Terrell Brown's not afraid of the speed, so what do? You got to use your body, and he does.
There's a face mask.
Yeah, on Brad
Smith.
I mean, if you're going to face mask anybody, Ness, it shouldn't be the quarterback.
No, that's not good.
Now, they're kind of locked into his protection.
With the penalty and the gain, they're all the way down at the 49ers 30-yard line. Richardson comes out of the backfield, empty set, with Bradford in the shotgun to throw on first down. Look long, came back across the middle to his tight end, and Cook's got it down to the 22.
Two major free agent acquisitions on offense, Brad, in the offseason. Jake Long, the starting left tackle, they paid him a bunch of money. And then, of course, Jared Cook. And I think he's important to Sam Bradford's welfare long term. They're trying to develop a bunch of young guys on the edge. That's the guy they need production from as kind of a security blanket for Bradford.
Well, they got it in week 1 from him. He caught 7 passes for 141 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Back to the ground game. This has been the problem, Mike. Trying to get yardage on the ground. It's been like pulling teeth right now for the Rams. Richardson got 1, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 1.
Yeah, and running against this, and people are kind of taking shots at San Francisco's defense right now, and I understand that. But with all the injuries, Ian Williams, a promising nose tackle, he goes down. Aldon Smith is out for a period of time. Patrick Willis not playing tonight. This is really a mismatch of individuals trying to come together quickly.
3rd and short, 3rd and 2.
It's a 4-down look.
Avon Austin, the motion man. Bradford's going to the end zone, and just in front of Austin Pettis, he had him wide open. He puts a little air under that. It's a touchdown.
Now, I don't know whether the route was run at the right place or not, but this should be a home run. There's a pressure. He had to throw it early, but if he just puts, like you said, Brad, a little bit more air to the back of the end zone, those are opportunities in the NFL you don't get very often, and you have to cash in.
And you could see Pettis' reaction knowing that with both hands on his helmet as he slides into the end zone. So Zuerlein out to try a 40-yard field goal. This should be a chip shot for him with the leg he's got. A kick up and hits the right upright and goes through. Finally, points in the first quarter for the St. Louis Rams.
and barely.
Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers offense will be back out there. They'll be trailing by 3 when we come back.
Aldon Smith may be gone, but watch rookie 3rd-round pick Corey Lemonnier out of Auburn push Barksdale right back into Bradford's lap. Inside pressure from McDonald. The ball's out earlier than they anticipated, and it forces the disconnect. Ness, you got to make that throw, right?
And they barely got the points high off the right upright and in. 3-0. And a kick by Michael James. Has to just watch this one go up the back of the end zone. So the 49ers had a decent drive going before it stalled in Rams territory. And they came up with a 3rd down and long and then missed a Phil Dawson field goal. This time they'll start at the 20.
Here's Paul Boudreau, very, very talented offensive line coach.
You know, it's almost impossible to go 10 games without, 9 games without first quarter points. So Rams got to feel good.
And there was obvious frustration in that building, Brad. That's all they talked to us about, getting off to a quick start today.
We're embarrassed by the Cowboys game. Kaepernick, straight drop, now rolling and trying to get away, and he won't. Not from Robert Quinn. Sacked back at the 10-yard line. And a little bit of Kaepernick there with a kiss of the bicep.
And Kaepernick's a one-look guy. Watch what happens here. There's a bust. Miller is uncovered, but Kaepernick drops back, doesn't see it. It's wide open, and as soon as he sees pressure, he's getting out. But let me tell you something. Robert Quinn, one of the most gifted edge rushers in the entire league, tries to strip it. Kaepernick does a pretty good job just holding on to it.
Quinn's 5th sack of the season. Has it back to the 12-yard line, 2nd down and 18. Now the pistol set. And Kaepernick looking left, firing that way, and just about hit
late
Janoris
flag.
Jenkins in the backside, and a flag comes in, as Mike said, late.
Wow. Now, the intended receiver was Bolden. And I heard Kurt Warner say in the pregame show he had to learn how to throw him the football.
Pass interference, defense number 21.
I thought Kurt Warner made a great point that when Bolden's covered, he's really open. You've got to throw him the football. Now, they're both pushing and shoving. Jenkins had no idea where the football was. If he had turned around and looked for it, there would not have been a call.
So already 3 penalties against St. Louis and a first down for the 49ers at the 29-yard line. The give to Gore, trying to cut back. And again, the Rams hold him without a gain. Kendall Langford made the tackle.
Brad, you know what I thought was interesting? Meeting with Chris Long and James Laurinaitis this week. They were, as you said, embarrassed about last week. And they said that the coach was trying to get everybody to move on. Forget about last week's short week, we got to go. And they were like, wait a minute. Players only meeting with each group, right?
Yep. The linebackers rallied around Laurinaitis. Chris Long called the meeting for the defensive front. They said they aired some things out.
Players only.
So far, they're playing tough tonight. They've given up 1 run to Gore of 18 yards, but not much else. Let's check in with Alex.
Brad and Mike and James Laurinaitis doing exactly what he told us he would do, which is grabbing the bull by the horns, not letting anything fester and getting on problems right away. He's a madman right now on the sidelines in between defensive series. He's running between the DBs, the linebackers, the defensive linemen, kind of getting everybody on the same page, making sure that he communicates, because after all, he is one of the veterans on this young Rams team.
Is he ever? One of the captains in his 5th year out of Ohio State. Again, a 3rd and long for the 49ers. Empty backfield on 3rd down and 7.
Got a big body guy like Anquan Bolden with Finnegan on him man-to-man.
Here's a throw, complete out to Quentin Patton, trying to cut back inside. He maybe got a yard, and that's about it.
Really good hustle. Hustle to the football. This defense is flying around tonight. Ogletree, the 1st-round pick out of Georgia. He's best in space. So you throw a screen, that's where Ogletree is going to be effective on defense.
And he was the 30th pick in the 1st round. This guy was the 8th pick after they moved up 8 spots to get him. Tavon Austin had one called back last week, a punt return. But he is one dangerous guy in this situation if you give him a shot. And he's going to have a shot from the 8-yard line. Austin straight up the middle, got out to the 21. 59-yard kick, though, a 13-yard return for Tavon Austin. The Rams with a 3-point lead on offense when we come back.
Number 22 in the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So a holding call will put the Rams in a hole and negate the punt return they got from Austin. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Goodyear, chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. And by Verizon, never be without football. Call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile from Verizon. 49ers, we talked about some of their key players not here. Hamdi Asamoah not playing tonight. Aldon Smith and self-imposed alcohol rehab. Ian Williams went down before the season started. Patrick Willis not playing tonight. Those are all key members of what was once a very solid 49er defense. Sam Bradford from his own end zone, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. And that was Jared Cook.
You know, Brad, one of the guys stepping up tonight is Michael Wilhoit, inside linebacker for Patrick Willis, and he's a great story. A little bit like Kurt Warner. I mean, here's a guy coming out of Division II Washburn, didn't get a sniff in the NFL, had to go to the UFL, play for Omaha. He got to a point where he thought his career was over. Believe it or not, he was selling sneakers in Topeka, Kansas. Does that sound like Kurt Warner?
Yeah, it does. That's where Washburn's located, Topeka, Kansas.
And then he gets a shot with the 49ers last year, makes their practice squad, gets active at the end of 2012, and becomes a key reserve this year. I'm excited for the kid.
Trying to get out to the 10-yard line. And Ray McDonald in on the stop. He's going to bring up third down and long. Not a good spot for the Rams offense right now.
Yeah, they really need to manufacture first down, Brad, and they're hampered by the fact that they're just not running the football at all this year. And I think they're struggling trying to push the pile. I think they got to spread it wide and look for some space plays.
Steven Jackson, of course, opted out of his final year of his contract to become a free agent and signed with the Falcons. And he's a guy that had over 10,000 yards wearing the Rams uniform.
Yep.
Third down and long. Bradford from the goal line, and this time he's got Cook, and it's a first down. So your difference maker, Mike, making a difference there.
And Bradford did a heck of a job standing in, knowing he's going to take a hit, and putting this ball where it needs to be. They're getting a lot of push with only 4 men. It's 4 men on 5. Watch Bradford take the hit at the end. Not a vicious hit, but when quarterbacks see color, especially standing in their own end zone, they tend to get a little bit out of sync, and I give Bradford credit for keeping his concentration.
A little bit of breathing room now for the Rams offense out to the 18-yard line.
He's checking at the line.
Richardson cuts inside to the 20. That's it. Picked up 2.
Bowman is so good. You talk about a fourth-year player out of Penn State, and you know, now with Willis out, he's really got to take a leadership role, both physically and mentally, and he made that diagnose. Guard pulled, and he filled so quickly there was no chance for that play.
The captain out of Penn State with the stop at the 20, where it's second down and 8.
Tommy Bradley, their defensive coordinator at Penn State, told me when he came out, I had him way too low. He said, Mike, this kid's going to be an all-pro. And Tom was right.
Scrappy.
Scraps.
Hey, Drew Bruce! Drew Bruce!
They're going to go with Richardson again. And still not much.
No push.
Dan Scuda over the top made the tackle.
Yeah, Danny Scuda, another name, coming chasing him down from behind. I thought Dorsey, the nose tackle, did a great job sifting through all the offensive line blocks.
And we got a Ram down, and that's Lance Kendricks, the other tight end out of Wisconsin. Jeff Fisher coming out to check on him. We'll check on him as well when we come back. Today's game day on NFL Network. 12 hours of live coverage starting at 7 a.m. Eastern, leading up to kickoff. Then at 7:30, game day highlights and a final recap after the Sunday night game at 11:30 Eastern. Start and end your Sunday with NFL Game Day right here on NFL Network. Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan, and our NFL Network Thursday night crew here at the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, where the Rams are up by 3 and face another third down, 3rd and 6. Zach Stacy in the backfield for the first time tonight, flanking Sam Bradford in the shotgun. And now he goes out in a slot on the right.
Out, Bob, go!
Bradford steps up in the pocket, fires, and nearly intercepted. Dangerous pass. Terrell Brown was all over that one. Well, they got away with one that deep out earlier, but that one didn't look so good.
Can't make that throw. And watch Smith over here on long just kind of get under him and jack him back into the throwing area. He's got to step up. He's getting hit every time he throws, but Brad, you called it correctly. That's a ball that's got to be thrown 10 yards over his head. You can't even take a chance there.
Ooh, they got close. They might have even gotten a piece of that punt by Hecker. Kyle Williams trying to clear everybody out. It takes a 49er bounce.
Pick it up.
And the Rams finally down it. And they're going to bring it back, I think, out now around the 41 or 42 yard line. 1:11 remaining first quarter.
Welcome back to St. Louis, where the San Francisco 49ers trail St. Louis by 3 points. Colin Kaepernick getting on the social media trend this week when he got on Twitter and told us that he got a lot of tweets this week after the 49ers have gotten off to a slow start that weren't that favorable. A lot of words that probably aren't suitable for TV. But what he did is he favorited them, which Mike and Brad, it means that you send those out to all of your followers and you let people see what other people are saying about you. Colin's saying that he uses that as motivation. Say what you want about him, but he's going to use that to drive his fire, you guys, so he says.
He didn't say tweet to us in our meeting last night. I know that. Alex handling that beautifully because she knows Mike and I are not so good at social media.
And yeah, I don't really understand the whole thing, especially when Kaepernick goes, it was all blown out of proportion, and I don't care. So you and I are both dinosaurs, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. He told us basically that he doesn't care what people think, and yet he spent a good part of the week caring what people think. You know, a meteoric rise last year and going to the Super Bowl and all of that, but when you're 1-2, things aren't so rosy.
Exactly right. And hard to handle when you're young.
Here he is, rolling to his right, looking for a receiver and finding one. And throwing a strike, flag down, but the pass complete to Anquan Boldin at the 40-yard line. And that might be a push-off on Boldin. Looked like they were signaling it's going against San Francisco.
Pass interference. Offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Now, last week he was very frustrated. With Davis out of the game, he got doubled all day long. Now, there's just a little not so subtle push off. That is a good call. And those are the tricks of the trade. That's who Anquan Boldin is right now. He gets away with a lot, and I respect that. He works his tail off and makes a lot of plays.
So that backs it up to the 36-yard line. There's no play fake there. Kaepernick looked like he wanted to fake the handoff. Now throws on the run again to Boldin, and this time it's broken up by Janoris Jenkins. So we went right back to number 81, and Jenkins makes a nice play.
And you know, one of the reasons he should have been a first-round corner. He had some issues off the field, but I want you to see his break when he comes back to the football. There's some mistakes where his eyes are, but he's so quick to react. You're either born with those kind of feet or you aren't. And that right hand comes in and strips it out. Beautiful play. Yep.
He had 3 interception returns for touchdowns last year and a fumble return for a score against San Francisco. 3rd down and a mile. And they have not converted one of these this year. Kaepernick. And Laurinaitis almost had an interception. Intended for Vernon Davis. Big play by the middle linebacker.
Boy, did Laurinaitis just read his eyes and almost steal the football now.
First quarter comes to a close. Rams finally got points in the first stanza. Only 3. Just about set to start the second quarter. James Laurinaitis. We talked about him being an every down linebacker. Here's why.
It's 3rd and long. Eyes on the quarterback in zone coverage. Watch his eyes. Opens his hips. Now he drives because Kaepernick's eyes take him right to the football. Almost picks the pocket.
Not only had a career high of 174 tackles last year, but he had a couple of interceptions. Flags are down as the punt's away. Tavon Austin puts up a hand for the fair catch back at the 11-yard line. But again, flags at the line of scrimmage. Colin Kaepernick and backup quarterback Colt McCoy on the sideline. Jeff Triplett, our referee tonight. There's going to be an option here on whether or not to accept the penalty and re-kick. He's talking to Jeff Fisher right now. And now we get the call.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 50, the left tackle, number 57, lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
So they're going to make him kick it again. I don't blame them because they'd like to get number 11 a punt return.
They need to get him some touches. And I think what's interesting, you and I were talking about what kind of game we might get tonight. And I said before the game, I wanted a fist fight.
I wanted
what
points.
did you say?
You got the fist fight right now.
I'm not sure we're getting a lot of points tonight.
All right, 3-0. And we'll kick it again here early in the second quarter. Again, Tavon Austin there. First round draft pick. Had one called back due to a penalty a week ago. Oh, they got close to Andy Lee that time. Austin, he'll have a shot from the 12. Going wide side, whoop, puts the brakes on and tries to come back the other way. Given ground to try to look for a block. Now drop the football and has to cover it at the 8-yard line. Wow. Well, that was exciting, but he lost yardage. Could have been a disaster when he put it on the turf.
Is that a rookie or what?
Ooh.
One of these days, he's going to take one of those to the house, though, with 3 different changes of direction. Oop, there goes one. 5'8", 175. He swears he's 5'8". I stood next to him. I'm not sure. Really nice strip right there by, I think it was the fullback, Anthony Dixon.
So now again, the Rams have to start in a hole. From their own 8-yard line. Trying to run the ball. Richardson has found that sledding very tough. Couple of yards, maybe 3. Justin Smith and Corey Lemonnier in on the stop. There's the first quarter summary. First time they've had points in the last 10 games going back to last season. Dawson was wide right from 53. And there's not a lot of yards by either team so far.
It'd be interesting to see if either team can establish a run game. And I think the team that does is going to win the game.
Bradford lofts it out to the 15-yard line. Got it to Lance Kendricks, who was shaken up earlier and came out under his own power, now back out there. So it's 3rd down and about 3.
I wonder if they're going to call a pick there. Offensive pick.
Offside. Number 96 of the defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
And Corey Lemonnier, the rookie out of Auburn, with a rookie mistake, lining up in the neutral zone.
He was an interesting kid coming out of Auburn because I thought he had 1st or 2nd round talent. His motor didn't always run. He dropped down into the 3rd round, but he's a much better pass rusher than he is stout at the point of attack. So he and Scooter are going to share snaps at the position Oldham Smith had.
Bradford, play action. No action in the backfield. He's sacked by Glenn Dorsey, another former number 1 pick of the Chiefs.
Yeah, and you know what? Scott Wells, the center, been in this league a lot of times. Watch inside now, okay? Wells loses an edge. That means that Dorsey gains his outside shoulder pad, pushes up the field, and his quickness beat Wells for a clean sack.
Dorsey out of LSU. That's his 2nd sack of the season. And again, the Rams find themselves in long yardage on 3rd down. Bradford near his own goal line now, steps up and fires a strike. And a 1st down to Chris Gibbons. That might be the best pass he's thrown tonight.
You know what was cool there? They showed 6. They only rushed 3. And Sam Bradford, like a veteran, but he's showing 6 up front. They only bring 3. He knows he's got time. Watch him climb the pocket, eyes downfield, and then just rips one. I was at his pro day 4 years ago, and when he sets his feet and rips it, it's pretty special.
For another reason, you were in Boomer Sooner land this week and saw his Heisman Trophy down there along with Billy Vessels
right
and
next
the other
to
guys.
Billy Vessels and about 3 other guys.
And out again, nothing on the ground. Richardson for a yard. Ahmad Brooks and Dorsey in on the stop.
You know, Ness, if you're going to block, Jared Cook, for instance, is going to come in motion here and watch him try and block Brooks. I hate the effort here. Here comes Cook. Watch him. Hands, that's horrible. If you block Brooks, you got a shot. So when people talk about little things keeping a play from working, that's one of them right there. Jared Cook, it's got to be better than that.
Cook comes out in a slot on the right side on 2nd down and 9. Bradford. Yeah, It's almost intercepted and now caught by Cook. It was right in Dante Whitner's hands, and he basically handed it to Jared Cook. 18-yard pickup.
Yeah, and there was a twist stunt inside. Watch Brooks come down and the linebacker around. They get good pressure when Bowman flashes. This is another bad decision by Bradford. The second or third bad decision of the evening. Dante Whitner, you got to make that catch. Boy, are they lucky, Brad Nessler.
Totally lucky. Whitner, who made his first Pro Bowl last year, and just gave up a first down. Wow. At the 48-yard line. Austin in motion out of the backfield. They're going to flip it out to him with some blockers in front. But a nice job by the 49er defense. And Michael Wilhoit, who you were talking about, filling in one of those linebacker spots, made the hit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, that's just an extended handoff, trying to get Austin in space. Michael Wilhoit is the kind of guy I root for. Long shot, had no chance to make this football team, somehow made it. I want to get Kurt Warner talking about him at halftime because he's got to be able to empathize with where this kid's been.
No doubt about it. 7th play of the Rams drive, and they've just shaded it inside 49er territory. And again, loss on a play. Richardson dropped by Navarro Bowman. And Richardson's carried about 10 times tonight and has nothing to show for it.
Navarro Bowman really playing a solid football game. You're going to see him hinge and not sure who to block. He looks outside, inside, 2-on-1.
10 carries for Richardson, 12 yards on the ground. There's Patrick Willis, who they sorely miss. Maybe arguably the best linebacker in football. At least one of them.
Yeah, I think the tandem of him and Bowman are the two best inside linebacker tandem I've seen in a long time.
Empty backfield. Bradford on 3rd and 10. Flushed from the pocket. Sam looking for help and fires back across his body, and Austin trying to make a diving catch. Would have been a first down. And maybe if he was bigger than 5'8", he might have had that one.
They're only bringing 4 or 5 like Dallas a week ago, but they're getting significant pressure. That time Ray McDonald right up the middle. And what I always say about Bradford, no, is he a running quarterback? He is not, but he's nifty with his feet, can get outside and make a throw.
So Johnny Hecker into punt again. Again, a mile high here in the dome as Williams camps under it, lets it go. Rams special teams trying to locate it and couldn't. It took such a high bounce they couldn't find it. It's a touchback after a 52-yard kick. 9:17 remaining. Rams defense playing tough tonight. They've shut out the defending NFC champions so far. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by KFC. KFC plus football equals couch gating. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. Right now, the 49ers struggling offensively. 12 plays, good for 25 yards. And remember, 18 of that came on that one run by Frank Gore, who's the tailback in the eye and gets the call. And Gore with another big gain. First down, got the corner. Gore out across the 40 to the 46-yard line. So another long run. This one good for 27. There's the offense of the 49ers.
Their 2 best plays have been the same one. The wham in here, and then watch the fullback. 2 key blocks. The wham right there on the nose. The fullback at the second level. Nessler could run through that hole. Might not pick up as many yards.
Wouldn't have gotten 27, I don't think. Now Michael James, the second-year guy at Oregon, trying to go wide. And Laurinaitis and Will Witherspoon make the stop. Witherspoon got the first hand on him, and Laurinaitis cleaned up.
I kind of like that play. That's like the old Green Bay Packers sweep. Remember Vince Lombardi, the old NFL films?
Yep.
Here they go, fast.
And Michael James going down fast. Eugene Sims brings him down that time.
Now, LaMichael James is a guy they need some production from. He's been inactive the first 3 weeks. He had a sprained MCL. He had a little burst last year in their playoff run. And if you notice, Brad, nobody on either team's making a play. They can't get the ball down the field vertically. There are no big chunk yards. And LaMichael James is one of those guys.
Third time 49ers have been 3rd and 10 or longer. Wow. And we told you they've struggled all season long with this situation.
That's Laurinaitis all the way up top. They've got him all the way moved out because of Frank Gore.
And a timeout taken
San Francisco
by
there
San
first.
Francisco. James Laurinaitis calling the plays for his defense. And the 49ers taking a timeout there with an important 3rd down and 10. Laurinaitis, a newlywed, got married back in March. And then Chris Long said, you know, everything James does, I have to do. So he got married just before training camp.
That's exactly right. They tend to do things together, those two.
They do.
Single high safety. You get a good look at that. Man coverage everywhere.
Kaepernick on 3rd and 10. Fires, got Bolden out there on the run. Anquan Bolden. And they finally convert a 3rd and long, and it's all the way down to the 11-yard line. Penalty marker back around the 37.
Finnegan completely lost him on the break to the corner. Didn't realize the ball was in the air.
Prior to the pass, holding 31 of the defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is 1st down.
So 42-yard pass play.
Bolden's going to work him inside and then back out. Watch with Finnegan. There's a little bit of a hold. Doesn't even see the football. Crafty move by Bolden, and the first big play of the game.
Down to the 11. And now it's Frank Gore. As he met head on by Alec Ogletree, the rookie linebacker, and another penalty on the play.
Street fight. Told you.
Both teams and both coaches expected that everybody was going to be a little bit sore tomorrow morning after this game.
I really thought that play had a little something, and the pulling guard actually missed Ogletree in the hole. If Alex Boone saw him and picked up Ogletree, they might have walked in the end zone.
Long conference before the call.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 49 of the offense. That penalty is declined. After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 79 of the offense. Correction, 75 of the offense. The down will count. It will be 2nd down, a 15-yard penalty.
That's why it took so long. 2 penalties on the play, a holding, and then a personal foul on Alex Boone.
Now watch here, McLeod, the safety, jumping and pushing on Alex Boone. What does Boone do? Turns around and jacks him, and he gets called.
Second guy always gets caught.
You know, that's frustrates me. Doesn't really matter because there was another penalty on that play for a hold, but that's a shame because McLeod was the guy that instigated it.
Backed up to the 26, where it's 2nd and 25. Kaepernick across the middle, complete to the 20. This one's to Vernon Davis, who they sorely missed last week, and that's his first catch of the night.
Wonder how explosive he is tonight. Talked to him on the field prior to the game. Said he was about 85%, said he could get in and out of breaks. But he's a difference maker when he's 100%.
Yep, sure is.
He said, yeah, Mike, I can only go about 85%. I said, what's that make you, 4, 5, 40?
Third down and 19. Now they picked up a 3rd and 10 earlier to Bolden. Kaepernick throwing out again to Bolden. Bolden, touchdown. Anquan Bolden with the first touchdown of the game. 20-yard toss on 3rd and 19.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens. I really don't. See the foot. Is that heel out of bounds on about the 3-yard line? You could certainly make the case that it was. All touchdowns get reviewed right there. I don't understand how that happens to a defense, to be honest with you. 3rd and 19, ball on the 20-yard line. I thought McLeod, the safety, got picked there.
I think it's a touchdown.
That heel's hard to see now.
Yeah, it is. One angle looked like there might have been a little bit of green between that spike and the sideline. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by the all-new 2014 Lexus IS, introducing a car designed with one purpose: to stand apart. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. The last play under review. Anquan Boldin going down the sideline, and what we thought was a 20-yard touchdown pass. Watch his right heel. And I think that's...
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Yep. A touchdown.
Good call, Ness. There were two big defensive mistakes on that play, which are inexcusable on a third and 19.
Well, they picked up 42 on 3rd and 10, and then a 20-yard touchdown on 3rd and 19.
Yeah, both Bolden, both on outbreaking routes against Cortland Finnegan.
So the 49ers with their first lead as Dawson's in for the point after. And just barely got that one inside the right upright. Ugly kick, but he got it nonetheless. There's Cortland Finnegan, and now Colin Kaepernick, who was sensational with 3 touchdowns against the Packers in week 1 and has thrown 4 interceptions since, but now he's back on the plus column with that touchdown toss, his 4th of the year. Hope you'll be with us next Thursday night. We're heading to Cleveland. That'll be our city. Get to see E.J. Manuel, the rookie from Florida State. And the Browns have got a big win over the Vikings last week. And I don't know if the Brian Hoyer experience will still be going on then, but it will be this weekend.
Yeah, and that tight end had a heck of a game. He's an athletic kid, Cameron, and I can't wait to see him. And I was in Buffalo for training camp, and E.J. Manuel was ripping it.
That'll be our matchup next Thursday night. So Jeff Fisher's team behind for the first time tonight with 6:22 remaining in the half, but they have their full complement of timeouts. And Phil Dawson, who's been around 15 years, set to kick off. He's had a missed field goal and the ugliest extra point of all time. We'll see how his kickoff goes.
Come on, Ness. It's like in baseball, man. All hits are line drives in the book.
That's right. And the kick goes about 4 yards deep to Benny Cunningham, and he'll take a knee. The Rams unable to get anything going on the ground tonight, and they'll work from the 20-yard line here with 6:22 remaining in the half.
Yeah, here's the touchdown play. Finnegan is going to get beat way too early, and then watch the safety McLeod and the angle he takes. That's way too easy. 6 yards of separation. Then McLeod gets picked off by the other wide receiver, Jonathan Baldwin. 2 big mistakes, and it turns into an easy touchdown for San Francisco.
4 wideouts for Bradford here on first down. Throws it quickly and completes it. And it's going to be a first down, I think, to Austin Pettis.
Pettis is smart.
Quarterbacks usually, when we ask them if they have a favorite receiver, normally they say no, I just go through my reads. And Sam Bradford sort of said yesterday to you and I and Alex, hey, I know I can go to him and he's going to catch it.
Yeah, he really did. And again, it comes down to trust. And a guy like Tavon Austin has to earn it, where to this point Austin Pettis already has.
Tavon Austin, speaking of, on the move into a slot on the left side on 1st and 10. Play action. Bradford fires on the sideline, and it's caught down at the 44-yard line with a flag in, and it's Pettis again, and there's the trust that Sam was talking about and Mike just mentioned.
And we heard Kurt Warner talk in the pregame show about sometimes big-bodied receivers are covered up, and you have to trust that they'll make a play for you. This is another example of that.
That was a nice throw by Bradford going to his left.
Pass interference, 25 of the defense. This decline, result of the play, first down.
Obviously decline. It's a 27-yard pickup.
Yeah, and again, there comes a flash of color. Bowman, who's playing a great game, comes free, and look at the effort on the other end. Big body, Austin Pettis out of Boise, 6'3", 205 pounds. Good job.
Well, the Rams immediately move into 49er territory at the 43-yard line. Bradford again. A crossing route complete to Cook, the tight end, down to the 35. 8 more yards.
We get back over the ball here.
Everything the Rams are dialing up as far as the passing game working on this drive. They just can't get anything going on the ground game.
Yeah, 10 carries for 12 yards for Richardson, and that's it. San Francisco getting an awful lot of pressure with just 4 men in the pass rush.
Run blitz off the corner, and Richardson trying to pop it out. Can't. Got about a yard. Carlos Rogers is the guy that came in and got a hand on him first. And then Michael Wilhoit and Bowman make the stop.
You've been doing this a few years, haven't you? You identify the blitz off the slot, call to run. That's pretty good, man.
3rd down and 1.
Carlos Rogers doing a good job tonight. He's been matched with Tavon Austin in the slot, and so far we haven't seen Tavon Austin to have no impact tonight.
Rams are the worst team in the NFL on 3rd down and 1. And they'll throw for it, and they're going deep for it. Man out there, broken up, and was it intercepted? Wow. In the end zone by Dante Whitner. He missed one earlier. This ricochet he picks off in the end zone.
And that was Tremaine Brock, who's playing nickel tonight, that makes the play right there. Tips it away from Brian Quick. The hustle. Bing, bang, boom. Does he hold it through the process of the catch? It sure looks like it. Tremaine Brock makes the play. Tip drill.
And 49ers on offense when we come back. Dante Whitner, who dropped an interception earlier, just picked off Sam Bradford, and that's the first time Bradford's ever been intercepted by the 49ers. And now San Francisco with plenty of time to work, 3:56 till halftime.
And it was a heck of a play by Tremaine Brock and Whitner, but woefully underthrown by the quarterback Bradford.
Interesting, though, on 3rd down and 1, when they had a good thing going, looked like they were going to get points out of that.
They got the one-on-one he wanted on the outside. Now he just didn't finish the throw.
Cortland Finnegan, who was beaten on that last touchdown, not on the field right now, as Frank Gore tries to take it wide. Gore brought down after he picked up 4. Jermaine Johnson, who's in there for Finnegan, along with Laurinaitis, make the stop.
And Tremaine Johnson's a guy they're hoping develop. He's a long, lean corner with amazing skills. Had some off-the-field issues in college at Montana. Probably could have been a first-round pick. I mean, you're talking about a 6'2", 208-pound slab of muscle that ran 4.3. I mean, he's special. Finnegan, I thought, struggled tonight.
He's thinking that on the sideline right now without his helmet on. 2nd down and 6. Kaepernick fires to the sideline, completes, and that's a first down to Vance McDonald, a rookie tight end out of Rice, and he's an interesting story.
What did Jimmy Harbaugh tell us last night? We were talking about him, his upside, how athletic he is, and I said, Harbs, who does he remind you of? And he said, Dalton in Roadhouse.
That's right.
remember the old Patrick Swayze movie? He said, yeah, and that got us into a whole different direction. I never expected to take in a Jim Harbaugh conference.
Yep. From that to Patrick Swayze in the upper part of a barn in that Roadhouse movie. I don't know how we got there either.
Yeah.
Quick slant and caught by Bolden with Janoris Jenkins draped all over him.
You know, Bolden's having a heck of a game. He's the difference tonight in this score. He's blocking, he's catching. He made the big plays on 3rd down on the previous drive. He fights his way inside Jenkins that time. He's the consummate pro. I really believe Baltimore's missing him a little bit. And can you imagine San Francisco without him right now?
No, I don't know what they do, especially when Vernon Davis was down to an injury. Bolden in his 11th year out of Florida State. Of course, started off with the Cardinals and went to the Ravens, where they won the Super Bowl, and he's admittedly said, I kind of thought I would retire a Raven.
Yep.
But he understands that's the business of the NFL. And now with this team, has his team in front, 7-3.
Rich Eisen getting set for the halftime show. Full analysis with Greatest Show on Turf alums Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk, and the latest on Josh Freeman's future. Brad?
All right, Rich, thanks. There's some of the guys, the legends that are here tonight. Jim Everett on the sideline. There's a whole bunch of guys. Jackie Slater, and the list goes on and on.
How about Mr. Pace there? One of the better left tackles you'll ever see.
Torrey Holt, the whole group. Nice job following his blocking by Frank Gore. And that's his 3rd long run of the night. He's got it all the way down to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, and Bruce Miller's doing a heck of a job at fullback. They have him offset this time, but if you want to find the football, follow Bruce Miller.
as Frank Gore will do. Gets up in the hole on Laurinaitis. Really does a nice job. And Gore finishes.
Of course, DeMarco Murray had his way with the Rams last week, 175 yards on 26 carries. Mike, that's the third run by Gore of 18 yards or more tonight.
Yeah, and that tape last week of the Rams' run defense was ugly.
Colin Kaepernick's hit his last 5 passes. Play action here. And now scrambles, throws on the run, and he throws a strike to the sideline of Bolden, who's having a huge first half, and it's another 49er first down.
Yeah, I thought he had Vernon Davis on the crossing route. He didn't like it. He looks left originally, then he comes back to Bolden, who pushes off McLeod. Just understand, when you play man-to-man against this guy, he's going to push, he's going to shove, and if he doesn't get caught, it won't matter.
Didn't matter there. They've got it at the 23-yard line. 6 for 6 in the last 2 drives. Right now, a hot quarterback.
He looks good, doesn't he, Brad?
Yep.
It's under control. They're not asking him to make a lot of reads. He's kind of rolling left, rolling right, half the field, and doing a nice job.
We're reviewing the previous play.
At the very end of this, let's see, Brad. I thought I saw at the very
We're reviewing
end.
the previous play.
See the ball kind of slide down between his legs, and you've got to control that through the process. Okay, let's see.
That's a great look right there.
Now, 1 butt equals 2 feet, but there goes the jelly roll right there, and I'm not sure he kept possession.
Well, he fought it all the way to the ground.
Now,
that's for sure.
Yeah, but watch the ball at the very end. It rolls. Okay, you can make the case that he somehow cradles it, but at the very end, as he rolls over, watch what happens with the football right about now. That's loose. I mean, to me, that's a non-catch.
Both hands come off it just for a split second.
And again, the NFL specific, out of bounds and in the end zone, when you go to the ground, you have to control it through the entire process.
The most notorious of those that catch by Calvin Johnson that wasn't a catch in the end zone for the Lions a couple of years ago.
That was a catch all day long. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree with you.
But that's the rule.
Right. Jeff Fisher knows the rules as well as anyone. Well, whether Anquan Bolden caught that one or not, he has been the man in the last 2 drives for the 49ers.
Big body wide receiver, don't care what his 40 is. He'll push off, he'll be aggressive. You can call him once, it doesn't matter. He beats Finnegan again, inside move, then to the corner. Same thing on the touchdown. Gets up the field, breaks a tackle. He's been the difference maker in this first half, and here's the play they're looking at right now. I would say he didn't control it through the process, and that should be an incompletion. They got to figure out how much time's left on the clock and bring it back, I believe, to the original line of scrimmage.
Anquan, 2 catches for 62 yards in that last drive, including the final 20 for the touchdown. But again, that last play still under review. Giving a little breather to Chris Long and the Rams defense as they're waiting and looking at the replay as well. NFL Total Access has got a new look and a new time with a unique perspective into all things NFL. NFL Total Access now 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, live on NFL Network. Al Hines, our replay official, and Jeff Triplett, our referee, with a call right here.
There are the fellas.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed.
Yep.
The receiver did not maintain possession when he was out of bounds. The ball juggled with an pass.
So they will back it up, and that's the first incompletion in a while for Colin Kaepernick.
To 147.
You know, it was interesting last week. Indianapolis really took Bolden out of the game. They double-teamed him all day. It didn't matter with Brackett over the top. And when we spoke to Anquan last night, he kind of laughed and said it was a tough day. With Vernon Davis completely out of the lineup and inactive, they squatted on him all night long. A little different today.
And he's made Cortland Finnegan a spectator on the Rams sideline with his play tonight. So it's 2nd down and 10 back at the 43. Miller resets. Kendall Hunter's in the backfield. They fake it to him, and a quick throw and a middle screen to Hunter. And Hunter, nice sidestep move. And he's going to have a first down or very close to it. Boy, he had to make 2 little moves in the hole just to get going, and looks like he's going to be just shy of the first down.
Yeah, and that's what he is out of Oklahoma State.
Only about 5'7", under 200 pounds, quicker than fast. He'll make you miss in the hole. Good run.
Really good second quarter for the 49ers after a major struggle in the first 15 minutes. Now they've got the biggest third down of the game so far.
Trumaine Johnson out of the game.
Extra lineman in.
Exactly.
Third down at about 2 feet. And they're going to have to struggle to get the 2 feet, but Gore on second effort kind of squirted through at the last moment. And he's got the first down.
This is power football. Adam Snyder, an extra lineman in the game. Backside guard pulls. This is old school power football. And that fist fight we've been talking. It doesn't matter whether it was out wide with Bolden or in tight. This is the fist fight we talked about.
And they're going to come out and take a look at this just in case. I said first down, but they'll clear everybody out of here and make sure. And the change come from the far side. I thought he got it by about the nose of the football on the second effort, but we'll see. It's about the nose of the football.
You're on tonight, dude. And again, an extra tackle in the game, a guard pulling around Alex Boone, but it comes down to that fullback, that tailback, Frank Gore, making a play.
So first down at the 33, 8th play of the 49er drive. They've still got 2 timeouts to work and 49 seconds left. And a 7-3 lead. And now Jeff Fisher's going to call a timeout, and he wants to challenge the spot, I think.
Oh, that's a hard one. Now he wiggled forward.
I wonder if his elbow was down before the extra wiggle.
He wiggled forward.
Reviewing the previous play.
Watch at the end of this thing now. 21 to the right of your screen. He's going to drop his pads and now try to get up the field right here. It looks like he's still up. Right, he's certainly down there. These are hard to win, Brad.
Yep.
It's hard to get a definitive shot. Now you're going to see him drive right here. He gets hit by Witherspoon. His hand is down. He's still driving. I don't think, to me, it looks like he's past. I don't see anything that would force him to overturn it.
Well, we're inside 2 minutes, so this is being reviewed. Right there is where I thought his arm scraped.
Yeah, but now, no, I get that, but how do you ascertain where that is?
Yeah, good point. At that point, his lower body is still not on the ground. It's on somebody else's body as he tries to dive forward.
And you're right, it's the wrist, and it's before what we're seeing right now because he's clearly stretching a couple yards past the line to go. That's why these things are so hard to win.
Yep.
Like, there's the elbow, but where is that? You can see the yard line right behind him. It looks like about a yard or so.
And a yard might be just enough to back it up. So, again, the play under review, our second play under review here in the last couple minutes of this second quarter.
It's so hard to get a camera where you go, okay, there it is, the elbow down, and there's where he is. That's an intense guy right there, isn't it?
Sure is.
Did you like him throwing football before the game?
He did a nice job throwing before the game tonight.
Okay, here's Gore.
The blue line's the line of scrimmage, and the yellow line, the first down line.
Both unofficial, but I can look at that 100 times, and I can't tell you where to put that football when that elbow hits.
And we're going to find out right now.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed.
Oh.
The runner is down by contact with his elbow and forearm go to the ground at the 33.5-yard line, 1/2 yard short of the line to gain.
Wow.
It'll be 4th down and a half yard.
Wow.
The clock is correct.
Clearly the elbow was down. Look at Chris. Chris is fired up. Chris Long.
So it's 4th down and inches. And the crowd getting into it for the first time tonight for the defense. Kaepernick's going to come up under center. And timeout taken by St. Louis.
Yeah, I think he was going to sneak that, run under center and quarterback sneak it for the first down.
So another stoppage in play with 44 seconds remaining. Kaepernick's rush for coming into the game tonight, 129 yards on the season. After the big year last year with the read option. It became the wave of the NFL last year with several teams. And a lot of defensive coordinators have spent a lot of time working on that in the offseason. So they bring in the extra lineman again on 4th down and inches. They also bring in Frank Gore, so it's a different looking look right now. And it's Gore. And he breaks free. Frank Gore heading to the end zone on 4th and inches. A 34-yard touchdown. So he adds to his big first half with another long run. This one good for a score.
And big Mike Iupati, the former first-round pick, left guard out of Idaho, made a big block. Gore got in behind it. And you know what's interesting, Brad? If they had made the first down on the previous play, they probably would have thrown the football.
Right.
You know, it's 4th and inches, and they need the first down, so they go power.
The problem with everybody up close like that, if you break that first wave, you're gone, and he was.
He sure was.
Extra point is up and good. So just like that, Sam Bradford throws his first interception ever against San Francisco. Dante Whitner picking it off.
Power football.
Long drive for the touchdown.
Down, down, down. Pull the guard around. That's what it is. Here comes Iupati. Gets on him. Missed tackle right here. McLeod with a bad angle. And like you said, partner, it's all over at that point.
Second touchdown of the year. Gore goes over 100 yards with that rush. And it caps off an 80-yard drive that started following the interception in 8 plays. And they used 3 minutes and 19 seconds. And now they've got a big lead. Picture perfect drive by San Francisco. There it is, 10 carries, 107 yards, and that touchdown from 34 out.
It's all about Frank Gore and Anquan Boldin.
Sure is.
And a clean
21
game.
and 81.
Right. And a clean game by Kaepernick.
And Sam Bradford doesn't have much time to work with here. Kick is coming out from Benny Cunningham. And he's not even going to get the 15-yard line.
It smacked.
He sure did.
Bubba Ventrone. My man from Villanova, played a bunch of years in this league just because he can do that.
Frank Gore, what a night. Over 10 yards a pop. And he's ripped off now 4 runs of 18 yards or more.
Yeah, and now, so let's give some credit to that offensive line, to Miller, the fullback, to the tight ends who have been wham blocking for him all night. They've done a phenomenal job. Look at him jump right in there. Iupati with the key block. Man, that's awesome. I feel like it's 1964. Vince Lombardi. You get the seal here, the kick here, and you go back up inside.
Taylor and Horning and touchdown. And we had an offsides call on the kick. So that'll help the Rams, or it should anyway, because Dawson's got a kick again, and Cunningham didn't even make it to the 15-yard line. So we'll try this one more time.
It's Tom Rathman, tough guy, right?
One of the best.
Boy, was he a good football player. Running back coach here in San Francisco, standing next to a really good football player in Frank Gore.
This might be the longest 50 seconds of a second quarter so far this season.
You a little hungry there, partner.
This is a deep kick. Cunningham says, I'm going to try it again. And this time he almost got to the 20. Again, good kick coverage. Stuper down there to make the stop on the special teams.
29 seconds, pal. Down 14-3, ball on your own 19-yard line.
And you just threw an interception the last time you put one in the air.
Yeah, it went from 3-0 to 14-3 pretty quickly. And I think You got to get back in the locker room and regroup a little bit at halftime. And how are you going to move the football? There are no chunks at all evident in this offense.
It is an empty backfield for Sam Bradford, though. Crossing route and in and out of the hands of Richardson. That's not going to help him with the fans tonight.
You said earlier they haven't really replaced Steven Jackson, and they've got 3 or 4 tailbacks. Richardson's got 11 carries for 13 yards, been kind of battling through a turf toe. Coach Schottenheimer there, I know he's frustrated.
Richardson was almost Mr. Irrelevant in the 2012 draft. He was the second to last guy chosen out of Abilene Christian.
The penultimate Mr. Irrelevant.
Bradford on 2nd and 10. In trouble, down he goes. Ahmad Brooks, one of the first guys there, along with Justin Smith.
Yeah, and there's Jimmy Harbaugh sprinting out to get a timeout.
And Jake Long down. He had his struggles last week, as Mike pointed out, against the Cowboys. 6-year pro out of Michigan, and guy that the Rams are paying big dough to protect Sam Bradford.
Left tackle number 77, kick sliding out. Here comes Smith, and he's going to get pushed back into Ahmad Brooks. And Ness, I look at this strategy, and I said to you, you got to get back in the locker room. I just assumed they were going to sit on it and get back. Why give San Francisco an opportunity to block a punt, return a punt? You know, I think you just run the football and get back in the locker room.
Jeff Fisher out there with his 4-time Pro Bowl tackle, and he is really struggling just to try to get to his feet.
Now, in Jeff Fisher's defense, you throw a crossing route and your wide receiver drops it, you know, and then guys like me criticize because it's an incomplete pass. And there's no right answer, but I think you just got to get off the field.
And the Cardinals lose, the Rams rather lose a timeout with that injury inside the 2-minute mark. So 17 seconds left, but a 3rd and 15. And Jim Harbaugh is thinking, get the ball back one way or another.
It's Max Starks who came in for him.
Max has been around a long time.
Yeah.
And now they'll keep it on the ground. Richardson all wrapped up as he picked up a couple of yards. And now another timeout being taken with 12 seconds left.
You know, Max Starks comes in cold off the bench. He's an older guy. He's a veteran. Played a lot of years, but you can't lose inside. Okay, the play's going to his right. Watch what happens. Boom. Corey Lemonnier just runs right by him. I know I know you didn't get a chance to loosen up. You're coming quick, but you can't lose inside. You've been around longer than that.
So still 12 seconds left, and the Rams forced to punt.
Yeah.
Hecker's going to be inside his own 5-yard line. His first thought is going to be get this baby out of there, but the 49ers are thinking return right now.
Yeah, and I don't blame Harbaugh. Lead the clock, see if you can get a block or a return.
Kyle Williams has to call fair catch. So that took it down to 4 seconds remaining.
Yeah, good job by Brandon McGee, the gunner. Forced the fair catch.
Well, if they had Greg Zuerlein, maybe they could try a free kick from here. After a fair catch punt, when you're down to this point, you can actually free kick a football, but they're at the 39-yard line. That would be a 71-yard field goal attempt.
I want to see one of those before I retire someday. That's awesome. Now, you want to talk about arm strength. This Kaepernick dude, I mean, he could throw it through the goalpost the other way if he wants to.
That's what I'm sure they'll try to do. Bolden and Williams go one way. And John Baldwin the other.
Oh my goodness, this is the longest last minute of any game I've ever seen.
One last timeout, just to frustrate the Rams and their fans a little bit more.
What do we need to talk about here? We just came off the sideline, didn't we?
We're going to come off the sideline one more time in about 20 more seconds.
Keep in mind they've got Jonathan Baldwin activated this week. They traded for him in an exchange of disappointing draft picks.
Wait a minute, are they bringing out
I
the
think
field goal unit?
What you just said, pal.
Phil Dawson's longest career field goal is 56 yards, and that was about 5 years ago.
This is awesome.
This
Brad
is a free
Nessler,
kick attempt.
you are the man.
It is a rule that is so buried. But a free kick following a punt fair catch in a situation like this, you can go ahead and take a crack at it. So Dawson, the last successful free kick was Ray Wershing in 1976.
Nice. How did you come up with that one?
That was my man Pat McGrath
Way
on
to
that
go,
one.
Patrick.
I had no idea.
This is really, I've never seen one live. The players don't even know the rules. Look at the Rams out there. They have no idea what they can or can't do.
Right.
Their coaches are all sprint fast.
It's a free kick. They can't rush.
Right. This is completely free. So why not, right? The fans have no clue. Fans are looking around here going, what is this? They're kicking off? Why are they kicking off?
Again, it's going to be a 71-yard try on a free kick.
This is a great job by Jim Harbaugh and by Brad Nessler.
And he can run up on this thing like a kickoff. On the way. And wide to the left. Now this can be returned as well. And the Rams are trying it. We've seen a little bit of everything. Pettis brings it back out to the 10-yard line.
Pettis wasn't even down.
Finally, the half comes to a close. We've seen a little bit of everything, haven't we? 14-3 at the end of the half. Stay tuned for the Lexus halftime show. Rich and the guys are coming up next.
But I know you're gonna like it in my city.
Kaepernick sacked back at the 10-yard line. Fires, got Bolden out there on the run. Kaepernick, Bolden, touchdown. This ricochet he picks off in the end zone. Frank Gore heading to the end zone. A 34-yard touchdown. Back in St. Louis, where we're just about set to start the third quarter. And it's the 49ers with a 14-3 lead. As you take a look at the Volkswagen first half summary, you can sum it up in those two guys. Number 21 on the left, number 81 on the right. They've been sensational in the first half. And the 49ers scored 14 points in the last 6 minutes and 22 seconds of that second quarter. So those two guys, the veterans, lead the way to the 49ers, who'll get the football first as well to start the third quarter.
201 total yards by San Francisco. Those two guys responsible for 176 of them.
So Greg Zuerlein to open things up here in the third quarter. Michael James' feet on the back line of the end zone, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, back with you here in St. Louis. Partner, it looked like the Rams were going to take it down, get some more points, and then Dotnay Whitner on that ricochet in the end zone, the interception, that turned the whole game around.
Biggest play of the half, no doubt. You're driving down with the potential for worst case a field goal. The ball was underthrown. It was a 3rd and 1 situation. Ball was underthrown. They get it, drive 80. It's a different football game.
Did it in 3 minutes and 19 seconds, and so they have command right now. It'll be interesting to see how the Rams do defensively in this opening drive of the third quarter from San Francisco. They got the pistol set. Kaepernick was pretty sharp in the first half. Off play action, wants to throw here and does to Miller, the fullback. And he's out close to a first down as we check in with Alex.
Hey guys, well, Jim Harbaugh spent an awful lot of time coming into this game talking about execution and precision, and he told me at the half that was the biggest difference for his team offensively between the first quarter and the second quarter. In the second quarter, he said they were able to execute. Of course, happy about Frank Gore's performance. Through 3 games, Gore has not had a 100-yard rushing game, has 107 yards already as we start this game. Of course, Gore made a lot of headlines this week after the Indy game, but he told me coming into this game, he didn't care how many yards he got. He just wants to win this game.
And he's had a great night. He was a little frustrated after having a big first half against Indy and then only touching it 3 more times in the second half. But he's been the kind of Frank Gore that we're used to seeing, the downhill runner that he is. And Bruce Miller is the guy that's down, the fullback, who just caught that pass on first down. But here's what Frank Gore has done so far tonight.
Great wham block right there. Vance McDonald on the inside tackle. Then Miller, the fullback, missed tackle by McDonald. Gore does the rest. Same principle again. Great job on the wham. See 49 come through. The tackle Staley at the second level. Gore makes the cut to the left. Here's the touchdown. Yapati, great block. This is an old school power play. Down, down, pull around, and there goes Frank Gore.
Still got enough speed to get it done on the open field as well. Miller down, timeout. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Volkswagen. That's the power of German engineering. And delivered by Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Bruce Miller, the third-year fullback, went out under his own power after that 9-yard pickup on the pass play.
He was a lightly regarded linebacker at UCF. Watch the leg whip right there on the right knee.
We'll have to wait and see if he can come back in tonight. He's been a great lead blocker as well for Frank Gore. He gets the call here, spins away from the first would-be tackler, and here he goes into the secondary, but he dropped the ball. And the Rams have got it. Rodney McLeod on top of it, stripped by Ogletree. And the Rams defense comes up with a big play.
Yeah, missed tackle by T.J. McDonald actually ends up working well because watch 52. The big right arm strips down on the football. Unbelievable play by Ogletree. McLeod gets the pickup, but the rookie first-round pick. Frank Gore's got to be more aware of that. People from behind cause more strips than anything in the game.
So that's the break the Rams needed. I said the opening march of San Francisco would be key if the Rams could come up with an offensive play. They do. And now let's see if their offense can capitalize at the 44-yard line.
Got to see a chunk play sooner or later, vertically down the field.
Lenny Cunningham in the backfield. That was Austin Pettis in motion, and Bradford comes up throwing that way, and it's incomplete, knocked down by Terrell Brown.
You know what this reminds me of, Brad? What this reminds me of is that St. Louis is playing in a red zone 100 yards long because everything's within about 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Have they even thrown a football past 15 yards?
I don't think so.
At some point, you got to back these defenders off.
Now Bradford with a 2nd and 10 in the shotgun. Looking left, scanning the field, coming back across the middle, or trying to Jared Cook, the tight end. And Ahmad Brooks. Somebody got a hand on it in there.
That's the second pass broken up at the line of scrimmage. Bradford, you can see the big hand. That's Brooks. I think we had Bowman earlier, 2 linebackers with passes broken up at the line of scrimmage.
Now they find themselves in 3rd and 10 after the fumble recovery.
Got 2 high safeties there. Going to force him to throw the ball down the field. Check it down and come up and tackle.
Bradford off his back foot, threw it behind Pettis. It wouldn't have been a first down anyway. And the fans are restless right now.
Yeah. It's painful to watch right now. They can't run the football. That was Carlos Rogers in a blitz off the slot, bringing some pressure. Pettis can't hold on to it. Nothing good happening there.
Wasted opportunity on the turnover, and Hecker's got a punt.
Hecker's thrown 3 passes last year and another one this year.
Williams, fair catch. Taken around the 12 or 13-yard line. Frank Gore doesn't put it on the ground very often. Ogletree made a great play, but it didn't cost the 49ers anything. A lot of the Rams legends introduced here during that last time out, including our 2 guys, Kurt and Marshall. This guy, they've tried to get the ball to him, is not being able to so far.
Yeah, here he is, top of the screen, outside. Corner on the outside, safety deep. Nothing there, you drop it down below. Inside. Corner on him. Trail technique, safety over top. There's been some man-to-man with Rodgers, but so far, Austin hasn't gotten a taste.
And the 49ers take over at their own 12-yard line. Looked like there was movement on the offensive line. I guess not. No flag, and the pass intended for Anquan Boldin, and now there is a flag.
Now, if I'm Janoris Jenkins, I'm frustrated because this guy's been pushing me all night long. And I'm guessing there's some pretty heavy hand fighting both sides here. Jenkins, number 21, good inside technique, hand on the shoulder pad, he pulls it. Okay, they're going to call that. They're going to definitely call that every time.
Defense, number 21.
Now, I got a little empathy for him, Ness, because the big body Bolden's been doing that all night long, and he's only been caught one time, but that's all right.
Janoris had a little jersey there, too.
Absolutely.
So they move it out to the 27-yard line. Kendall Hunter stays in the 49er backfield right now, giving Frank Gore a breather. Davis sets up after being in motion. Play action bootleg. Kaepernick throws a laser shot to Bolden, and he made the same kind of catch that was reversed earlier as he's smiling. Got to get down over there on that sideline, and he got down that time.
Remember, we talked in the open about getting him out on the edge and letting him. This is when he's most effective. He's very comfortable throwing out there. There is the catch. He secures it this time. One butt equals 2 feet again, but this time we got a catch.
Miller's back in at fullback trying to lead the way for Gore, and he got whacked that time. And that was a collision. And James Laurinaitis telling us that he thought that Ogletree, the rookie, says, I try to school him. He's a little bit of a finesse guy. He said, I told him this was going to be a black and blue type game.
Yeah, and he's a run and chase linebacker with wonderful physical tools, but not used to being a violent, disengaged kind of guy. But Ness, like you said, Laurinaitis is like, hey, we told him that we're going to find out about number 52 tonight because it's going to be a physical game.
Well, he forced a fumble on the last drive. Big tackle there, forcing a 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, he's flashing, man. And athletic enough to get out there under the slot also where he is.
3-man rush against Kaepernick. Deep in the middle, and Laurinaitis almost had another one. And I saw him backpedaling way back in the middle of the field, almost like a defensive back, and it almost paid off.
And he's reading them, eyes on the quarterback, and young quarterbacks will take you to where they're going to throw it. Look at the eyes. Step, pat, burp the baby, and now throw it. And Laurinaitis, for the 2nd time tonight, almost steals them blind.
3rd down and 9, San Francisco.
Oh, we got a little tell there. 23 McLeod was coming off the slot. They ought to know it.
Here he comes. Kaepernick down the middle and throws a strike to John Baldwin. 1st down, 49ers.
What happens when you tip a pre-snap and the quarterback can alert? You're going to have a big tackle waiting for you, Mr. McLeod. See what happens coming off the edge. They know he's coming. Watch the tackle. Just sit there with a big grin on his face. Davis is laughing. I got you. McLeod wanted no parts of him.
Now back to the ground game. Gore trying to take it wide. Nice stiff arm on Laurinaitis, but he stays with it and runs him out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Pick up a 4.
Mike Iupati having a good game. Watch Iupati, the big guard, pull out, and he's going to get a little seal block, and then allows the fullback Miller to kick out. Really good timing. That's the Harbaugh thing that Alex was talking about. Precision execution. We're seeing it in the run game tonight.
Now Gore gets another quick rest on the sideline. And LaMichael James, the 2nd-year pro, back in there with Kaepernick.
Jonathan Baldwin in the game.
Play action, Kaepernick in trouble, and now he takes off for the first time tonight. Slides, and somebody's head almost came off at the end of that on a 1st down run at the 30.
It was Ogletree again that almost made the play.
Eugene Sims is the guy that's down. I think it was T.J. McDonald's helmet that came flying off in the fray.
Ogletree does a heck of a job not going with the run fake, and then at the end, see the helmet collision from 2 teammates. Kaepernick carrying that ball really loosely, tucks it away, and there's the collision. 2 teammates, Sims and McLeod.
Little extra chatter at the end of that last play, Mike.
That's more conversation than we got last night.
That conversation between Kaepernick and Ogletree.
Yeah, he's laughing. He's having fun. That's what I like when young guys have fun.
Picks up a 1st down at the 30. Back to Frank Gore. And there goes Frank Gore again into the next level and a pickup of 7 or 8 more.
That's the exact same play that's been their most productive play all day long. Greg Roman's done a great job, I believe, in getting Colin Kaepernick in his comfort zone tonight. But that wham play has been exactly what we're talking about.
James Laurinaitis and Chris Long both telling us they expected a full dose of Frank Gore tonight. They've got a dose of 133 of his yards so far.
And the wham play has been a big piece of it.
This time they fake it to him. Kaepernick in trouble. Got away from the first guy. Got it to Miller, the fullback. And looks like he's going to have a first down.
Now, one of the things Greg Roman does has gotten him in his comfort zone. Half-field reads, rolling to his right. When there's nobody around him, he's got clear feet, good vision. He's really good. Look at him get outside with his legs, locate the receiver, accurate pass. This is an offensive coordinator getting his quarterback in his comfort zone. I must have seen him throw 25 of those pregame.
Now they got the extra lineman in, Gore off the left side, picks up 3. And we've got another injured player, this time for St. Louis. T.J. McDonald, who lost his helmet earlier, and it's off again.
T.J. McDonald had a chance to make a play on that last bootleg. I hope he's okay.
His daddy was a 6-time Pro Bowler. Played at times in his 13 years for the 49ers, in fact. Breaking the action here, 9:55 remaining in the third quarter. They brought the card out for T.J. McDonald, the rookie out of USC, and he was involved in that last tackle, and it looked like he grabbed his right knee after again his helmet came off in the fray.
It looked like it was a head issue, but as he rolled to the ground, there comes the helmet off. The head gets jacked back by his own teammate, but at the very end, he grabs his knee. It was his right knee that he grabbed. As he's on the ground, immediately goes to that right knee. Talking to general manager Les Snead before the game, and our conversation was on T.J. McDonald, how he had a less than average senior year at USC, and they feel like they got a steal in the third round. This kid really played well. His father, the defensive back coach for the New York Jets, and I feel horribly because this kid has played his tail off this year.
And you see they put an inflatable wrap on that right leg, and he's heading to the locker room. Matt Giordano will take his spot. Hopefully it's not a serious injury for TJ. Meanwhile, the 49ers, on a drive that started at their own 12-yard line, have the 10th play of the drive coming up, and they already lead 14-3.
And Brad, since that interception in the second quarter, the 49ers just dominated the football game.
Yes, they have. Kaepernick under center. Gives it off to Gore. And Gore, another tough run. Right now, the Rams are getting tired of trying to tackle number 21, I think. And I don't blame them.
Yeah, Vance McDonald, the tight end's doing a nice job at the point of attack. Got a good block on Ogletree that time.
Third down and short.
McDonald's a kid, second round pick out of Rice, 267 pounds. Ran a good 40, but what was amazing to me about him, when you put the Rice tape on, they're lining him up wide, Ness, and they're pitching him the ball on jet sweep.
It's a little scary.
267-pound tight end.
Adam Snyder, the extra lineman, in there again for the 49ers.
Yeah, some confusion there.
They don't want to waste it here on third down and 2, and so they're going to take a timeout. So Jim Harbaugh will talk it over with his quarterback. Gives us a chance to remind you it'll be a great show coming up on Tuesday. Steve Sable's impact on the NFL was really like nobody else. He was an innovator who transformed football into, as Mike said earlier, pieces of art. The legacy of the man behind NFL Films. Steve Sable, A Football Life. Looking forward to that one Tuesday at 9, only on NFL Network. And there's our NFL Films guys all around the field with us tonight.
Not just sports, but throughout all kinds of cinematography. He was the leading dog for the last 30 years.
Kendall Hunter, the tailback on 3rd down at 2. Bolden in motion. And they're going to look for him. Kaepernick wanted to go to Bolden. Now goes to Vernon Davis. Touchdown, San Francisco.
That was a great read by Kaepernick because he wanted Bolden, and then he saw Davis beat Giordano man-to-man. And I really like this young quarterback's game tonight. Wanted to get Bolden in the flat. Didn't have it. Watch him redirect. And the inside move from Davis, Giordano athletically can't stay with him, and it's a perfect throw.
And there's Vernon Davis at 85%, huh?
I told you. He's a 4.5 at 85.
Kaepernick 13 of 18, 158 yards, and now 2 touchdowns on the night.
A clean night for him, man. Just a really clean, well-done night, especially out on the edge.
Bill Dawson's point after makes it 21-3, San Francisco. 88-yard drive capped by that one, the 11th play of the drive with just over 5 minutes elapsed. Vernon Davis from Kaepernick, touchdown 49ers. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Get the $10 any pizza deal now and create your favorite pizza for just $10. With Mike Mayock and Alex Flanagan, Brad Nessler with you in St. Louis. The Edward Jones Dome, where the 49ers have taken command after another long scoring drive, capped by the touchdown pass from number 7 to number 85 right there. Kaepernick to Vernon Davis. And now the Rams, if they can't find some offense, are in a heap of trouble.
Yeah. Be interesting to see if they get in that 2-minute look, which I thought they did well earlier this season. Yep. I'd like to see them get back to a little bit more tempo and pace.
Danny Cunningham takes this one about 6 yards deep. This time he at least crosses the 20, around the 24-yard line. And again, no big chunk plays. A lot of short passes from Bradford tonight. As Mike mentioned, Pettis has been his favorite receiver, but there's been nothing deep.
Yeah, I mean, they've attempted 22 passes for 138 yards. That yards per attempt is poor. They've got to start moving the ball down the field vertically.
Their last 2 drives were 3 and outs, and Bradford has missed his last 5 passes. And play action. Let's flip it out to Cunningham. And he's going to get a first down out of this. And then some. Nice tough run after the catch by the rookie. 17-yard pickup.
Brought a little linebacker blitz with Will Hoyt. He's going to come up the middle and get picked up. Bradford will climb the pocket, and then they're going to play a little game with Ahmad Brooks, who's sitting right out here. Get an athlete in space and see if he can make him miss a tackle. Brooks, all you got to do there is just hang on and get him down. It doesn't have to be pretty.
Cook, the tight end, in motion. They go back to Cunningham. He runs into a red wall right there. And Navarro Bowman was the lead man.
Bowman is such a good football player, and I love Ray McDonald in front of him. Ray McDonald's going to eat up some space and allow Bowman to come right off his butt. Kendricks doesn't see him. He flashes, and you're going to lose that battle, Mr. Cunningham.
In fact, lost a yard. 2nd down and 11. 3 wide outs to Sam Bradford's right.
Hey, Jupiter!
Here comes a blitz. They pick up Bowman momentarily. Now Bradford on the run, throws back across his body. That should be interference. No, I guess not. Chris Gibbons thought so.
You're funny. You're funny. You're on a roll tonight. You're really pushing it, aren't you?
You don't think that was interference, I guess, huh? You're a former DB. You wouldn't.
Nothing's interference.
No.
Good job by Bradford climbing this pocket here because there's a missed block on pass protection right there on Bowman. Climbs the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, throws across his body. Terrell Brown. Now we'll get a good look at it. Comes across. Uncatchable.
I knew you were going to sneak out of there somehow. 3rd and 11. Bradford finally going deep, and Tavon Austin looking for a flag and doesn't get one. Carlos Rogers out there covering.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Carlos Rogers did grab him here. 9th-year player out of Auburn's had a heck of a career. Remember, we talked at the top of the show, somehow Tavon Austin, and there's a couple of holds there beyond 5 yards. No question that Carlos Rogers got away with something there.
So another punt coming up. 1 first down that time. At least it wasn't 3 and out like the previous 2. Fair catch. Kyle Williams will take it just inside the 15-yard line. 7:05 remaining third quarter. 49ers with the ball back in a 21-3 lead. You can relive every game online with NFL Game Rewind in HD. Enter promo code GameRewind15 and get 15% off. Subscribe today at NFL.com/GameRewind.
And I swore I'd never be an iPad guy.
You are.
But now I carry the darn thing around because on this Game Rewind I get coaches tape, I get the broadcast, I even get a condensed broadcast of every game every week. So it's kind of a cool tool.
Most people don't use it at 5 o'clock in the morning like you do.
I'm on the laptop there.
First down for the 49ers at their own 15-yard line. And this time Frank Gore took himself down. Witherspoon was there to make sure he wasn't going much further.
Yeah, that's where they struggled a little bit last week in the run game against Dallas with C-gap and beyond. In other words, the tight end and beyond. They had it again there. Witherspoon, the outside linebacker, was being covered up, and they had a chance before it didn't slip.
Gore and Bolden, 229 and 2. A lot more than St. Louis as a team. And there he is coming out to the near side. Play fake. Kaepernick again showing on the run. This one in and out of the hands of Vance McDonald. And let's check in with Alex.
Hey, Brad, well, as you can see, the rookie out of USC, safety TJ McDonald, is out for the rest of this game. You guys saw him injured. The Rams are calling it a right leg injury. Never good when you see that red bag come out on the field and they bring out the braces, usually things for broken bones. All they're saying right now is a right leg injury. And Cortland Finnegan, you'll notice, also injured in this game, has a thigh injury, and his return in this game is doubtful. So
they're down 2 guys in the secondary right now. And they're facing an upcoming pass from Colin Kaepernick. Throws complete, but not the first down. Bolden stretched out, snatched that one down. And 49ers will have to give it up.
Good job getting off the field by Tim Walton's defense.
How good is Laurinaitis' pass defense?
Brad, there's a lot to be said for eyes on a quarterback with an instinctive linebacker.
Andy Lee to punt. You saw Tavon Austin waits on the other end.
I want this kid to do something. Catch the ball, Tavon.
Well, he takes it on one hop. Makes the first guy miss, but not second and third. Good job. Punt coverage again by the 49ers. They actually lost a yard on the return.
For the fastest kid in the draft, I haven't seen that explosion yet, and I think he's thinking more than just at West Virginia, man, he was a blur. Tailback, slot, wide out. Here, I think there's so much being thrown at him, he's just thinking too much.
And as fast as anybody at the combine, right?
Oh. I was at combine watching him run and catch at his pro day, at a beautiful pro day with Geno Smith and his teammate Stedman Bailey.
Cunningham stays in at the tailback spot. Draw play to him. And again, first guy was Corey Lemonnier, the rookie out of Auburn, who let him have it. And then Ahmad Brooks brought him down.
Lemonier's looking pretty good. That time he slanted right into it. He and the defensive tackle inverted responsibilities, and Lemonnier ran himself right into a big hit.
Corey's got those long arms.
Yeah.
Heck of a player at Auburn and doing a great job tonight, really. Second down, 11.
And a battle to score points the last couple of weeks.
Ooh, I guess.
Here come the backers. Double A gap.
Flags fly.
Number 36 to the offense.
The tailback flinched.
Yep. He saw those 2 linebackers come up. And he said, I guess I have to hit one of those guys. And
one of them's mine.
And he started coming out of his stance.
Dude, that is a bad feeling when you're a young tailback. Here come two linebackers up in the A-gap. You're like, uh-oh.
The Rams' longest run tonight. Get a load of this one.
Yeah.
4 yards. That was their trouble against Dallas. It's been their trouble since Steven Jackson moved to Atlanta. And that pass is tipped and almost picked off by Navarro Bowman. He would have had a touchdown. And Lemonnier, I think, is the guy that got a hand on it.
Yeah, third tip today at the line of scrimmage. Now, part of it's pressure and part of it's a quarterback finding a lane to throw it to. You can't blame everything on your offensive line. Going to be heavy pressure coming from the right side. Lemonnier, he pushes Barksdale back, and there's the tip. And Navarro Bowman, your high school coach, is going to be upset at you. That was pick six all day long.
Now it's 3rd down and 16. 49ers drop deep coverage here. Bradford trying to load up, find somebody. Hasn't so far, and now overthrew Austin Pettis, who went up high but couldn't bring it down. And Bradford's only hit one of his last 10 passes, and he's hearing from the fans right now.
3-man rush. Look at my man. He's going to go root for the Cardinals.
Exactly.
Soon, right?
The Cardinals have a better chance of winning this game the way the Rams are playing right now.
That's my guy right there. He's one of those guys that's here every week. Going to go have a beer, win or lose, after the game.
Hecker now will punt, and he's inside his own 5. 49ers might come after that one. They've come close a couple times tonight. And fielded by Williams, and Williams takes off down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds.
I thought there was a block in the back on the side.
I think you're right, back around the 36-yard line. Would negate a 21-yard punt return. C.J. Spillman, maybe 27.
Well, I know McGee's
McGee's
done a great job as a gunner all night long, and there's a second one also, but I think it was the first one that was called.
So the first good punt return of the night is coming back.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Number 27 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Good call.
Third penalty tonight on San Francisco special teams. We mentioned earlier that the Rams had trouble on special teams with penalties, and 49ers are doing likewise tonight. Frank Gore is going to stay on the sideline for this snap at least. 49ers a lot of penalties this year, most in the league going into week 4.
Yeah, and that's something I think Jim will get cleaned up over the course of the season. They're a very aggressive team. We all know that, a very physical team, but they're also typically a very disciplined team.
Kendall Hunter on the stretch play, trying to take it wide. Janoris Jenkins isn't going to let him. Nice play defensively by the second-year corner.
I like Janoris Jenkins. Really talented cover corner. He'll also stick his hat in there and make a tackle.
And Frank Gore comes back in. So Hunter loses a little bit of yardage, and back comes the All-Pro. The 49ers trying to get their fullback switched to the other side on 2nd down and 12. And then Gore follows him into the hole, but doesn't get too much this time. Pickup of a couple. Ogletree, Witherspoon in on the stop. And we're down under 3.5 minutes in the third quarter here in St. Louis. Rams, their first points in 10 games in the first quarter, a field goal. But San Francisco scored 21 straight since. And it's been a heavy dose of Frank Gore and Anquan Boldin, and a pretty efficient night by Colin Kaepernick. So the Rams trying to get off the field again here on 3rd down. Kaepernick throws it out in the flat. That one was well defensed by the Rams. They saw that coming all the way.
I love the way their defensive line recognized it early. It wasn't just Trumaine Johnson, but Kendall Langford, defensive tackle, felt them move out and just went laterally with them. Really nice job by the entire defense there.
That's the second straight 3-and-out by the 49ers, too. So both teams have stalled here in the late stages of the third quarter. Andy Lee, you look behind him as he's set to punt.
Now that's a low returnable kick, Mr. Austin.
They'll take it at the 30. Hesitation. Now trying to get to the edge. And did. Tavon Austin, but he's run out of bounds around the 44-yard line.
Got a little taste of it there, Brad.
So 2:37 remaining in the third quarter. Game controlled by San Francisco. Once they got that interception with about 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, the complexion of the game changed completely. And though the Rams have had it almost as much in time of possession, nothing in the way of total yardage compared to San Francisco.
I mean, San Francisco's averaging over 6 yards a rush, and that just tells the story. And end of story right there.
And the Rams haven't had a rush of 6 yards tonight. Bowman blitzes and levels Bradford as he's trying to throw the ball.
Again, right on it. Richardson is going to get tunned by Navarro Bowman. Now, you got to eat up some grass, get as close as you can to this linebacker, bend low, go eat grass up. Don't stand tall and take the punishment. You got to eat as much grass, get as low as you can, and explode into his chest, or your quarterback will get buried.
So you got to eat grass, huh?
You have to eat grass. Get away from the quarterback.
In this case, turf.
Turf, grass, just get away from the quarterback and get square.
Oh, Bradford into some traffic with that throw. It's headed for Cook, and double coverage there. Bowman, one of them. Rams have 15 yards of offense this half. Against the Cowboys last week, they had 18 yards of offense in the first half.
Okay, I'm going to give San Francisco credit. B, I think Jeff Fisher knows he's got, year two. They're still trying to build around Bradford, but at some point, if you can't run the ball, you got to get these defensive backs off the wide receivers and take a shot or two.
Again, Bowman blitzes. Bradford, and they're going to get to him back at the 36-yard line, and guess who it was? Number 53. He might not have his running mate Patrick Willis in there, but he's doing a heck of a job by himself.
Bowman's killing people. Now, first it's going to be here and here. Then watch Cook come over and help out. Okay? Good job initially as he steps up. Cook is late. That's more of a coverage sack than anything. Give Richardson credit, Brad. What did he do? He did two things.
He ate some grass.
Ate some grass. He stayed square.
Still a punt for Hecker. Wow. Got all of that one. And it goes out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. Or did it get to the end zone? I guess it got to the end zone. I thought it went out of bounds. I think the fans thought it went out of bounds too. I thought it bounced at the 6. And the officials are going to talk it over. I thought it hit the chalk line at about the 6-yard line, and that's what the Rams are saying. They're pointing to the spot, and that's where they're going to put it. So the referee comes down. Right there, it's way out of bounds. I don't know how you missed that, but woo. Hey, sometimes you just don't see them. So a heck of a kick, 59-yard punt, right where he wanted to put it. Navarro Bowman getting a little bit of a breather after a great defensive series by he and his teammates.
Bowman played his butt off tonight.
Sure did. So San Francisco just outside the 4 is actually where they put it. The Rams defense has been out there a long time tonight.
Yeah, and it's one of the youngest defenses. Heck, it's one of the youngest football teams in the league. It'd be interesting to see if they'll just stay in and keep grinding.
Gore stood up as he got to the 5 by Robert Quinn.
Yeah, Laurinaitis again also.
So the final 90 seconds of the third quarter. See if they would let Kaepernick roll out and throw one here on 2nd down and 9. He will from his own end zone. Maybe. And now he's going to run with it. Got what he could. Miller was out in front of him. He got it to around the 9-yard line.
He really lost an opportunity here for Vernon Davis, who's going to run this route. It's an easy read. You ought to read high to low, meaning deep to short. Look at this. Wide open. That's a touchdown right there if he rips it. And when you have the half-field read on play action, it's always the deep receiver to the short. I think Colin missed one there.
Maybe thinking about those 4 interceptions the last 2 weeks and didn't want to give one up there. Got what he could to force a 3rd and 5. Quick throw, complete, but not a first down. John Baldwin brought down by Tremaine Johnson. And that should force a 49er punt.
Kind of interesting, John Baldwin being traded by Kansas City in an exchange of disappointing first-round picks. A.J. Jenkins was traded from San Francisco to KC, and Harbaugh kind of likes this guy.
Both teams thinking that change of scenery would help the cause for those two guys.
I like the story Harbs told us about this kid when he was in high school playing hoops against Terrell Pryor.
How about that?
Said that Tom Crean, his brother-in-law, recruited and offered him a scholarship to Marquette in basketball.
Third quarter comes to a close. It's all 49ers right now. The Rams have got 15 minutes to do something about it on their home field. Thursday night football, the fourth quarter is set to begin. And right now it's all San Francisco in this NFC West showdown, 21-3 as we enter the final 15 minutes. 49ers getting ready to punt. Andy Lee will be kicking from his own end zone. The Rams have the return on. And high spiral. Austin from the 27. And only got to about the 37 on the return. So here's an opportunity again for the Rams, but partner in the third quarter, 13 plays, 7 yards. It's not going to get it done.
You know, you can talk about spread offenses and pistols and shotguns all you want, but at the end of the day, you still have to block and tackle.
Right.
And in football, fundamentally, if you can run the football and stop the other team from doing that, you have a pretty good chance of winning, and that's what San Francisco's done tonight.
49ers the last couple of weeks have been outrushed by their opponent. Certainly it's not going to be the case tonight unless somebody from the Rams breaks a big one, because it's been all Frank Gore on the ground leading the way for the 49ers. Bradford comes up throwing, complete. That is going to be a first down to Chris Gibbons. And almost a sarcastic cheer from the Rams faithful right now.
You know what? I'm a believer in Jeff Fisher. I'm a believer in Les Snead. I'm a believer in Sam Bradford. It's year 2 of this particular regime. They're building around the RG3 trade. You know, when they had the rights to the second pick 2 years ago and traded to Washington, has really given them some benefits that are awesome for this franchise and will continue to do so in this year's draft. I mean, take a look at this, Brad. So you give up the second pick in the draft, and Washington takes RG3. What do you get? Well, you get Michael Brockers, an additional first-round pick. Ogletree, another first-round pick this year. Janoris Jenkins, a second-round pick a year ago. And the gift that keeps on giving, a first-round pick this year that could be a pretty good one.
Pretty good right now with the Redskins 0-3, right?
Yeah, so you kind of got to take a step back and say this is a program that's building.
Bradford, plenty of time this time, and goes complete to the 49-yard line to Austin Pettis. There's Les Snead, the general manager. You spent a long time with him yesterday.
You know, again, I think he's one of the bright young guys. Is he frustrated? Yeah. Is his stinger up a little bit right now? Yeah, it is. I think they're all frustrated.
And diving attempt by Austin, covered by Carlos Rogers on the slant, incomplete.
Les learned from Thomas Dimitroff in Atlanta, right? And Thomas, of course, came from New England with Pioli and Belichick and that particular tree on the GM side.
It's a pretty good tree.
It is a good tree. And then you look at San Francisco, and a guy nobody talks about is Trent Baalke, the GM who's done a wonderful job with Jim Harbaugh.
Third down again. Snap a little off. The pass is intercepted. No. Incomplete. And got a ram down again.
They're running out of offensive linemen.
Yeah, Barksdale was starting tonight due to injuries to start with.
Yeah, Roger Saffold, who was a pretty good left tackle, got kicked to right tackle when they signed Jake Long in the offseason. And Brad, that started to look like a pretty good offensive line when you had bookend tackles like that.
Seven total yards in that third quarter on 13 plays. Wow. Frank Gore, great night. And Colin Kaepernick, not flawless, but hasn't thrown an interception. He does have 2 touchdown passes tonight.
There's something to be said for a young quarterback in a, quote, clean game. No big mistakes, made plays with his legs getting outside. He's been accurate outside the pocket. I'm happy for the kid because he had so much success so early in his career. It was like meteoric, and now people are jumping on him. And I keep trying to tell people, it's his 14th start.
Right.
Let's all calm down.
Looks like it's going to be a winning start, too. Hecker. Punt up in the rafters again. Williams trying to clear out his teammates. Took a 49er bounce, and they're going to spot it around the 29. There's the look of some of the action from the guys with NFL Films tonight. They're seeing a 49er lead that looks like it's insurmountable. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz and the all-new CLA, starting at $29,900. And brought to you by Craftsman. Beautiful day today in St. Louis. Not such a pretty sight inside the Edward Jones Dome if you're a Rams fan tonight. 49ers take over at the 29-yard line with a 21-3 lead.
Like the game plan by Greg Roman today. Back to the future. Tough. Run the football, play action, get your quarterback on the edge, and then of course defensively, Vic Fangio, one of the best in the business, has done a great job.
High backfield here with Frank Gore. Getting ready to follow his tailback his fullback one more time to the corner. Gets out to the 36, another 7-yard pickup.
You know, when a back goes in motion and a safety sees that. So watch Giordano. When this back is going here, there's a reason he's trying to widen. Okay, because he wants to cut you off. You've got contain. You've got to be aware of why he's widening there. And you got to be a little smarter than that.
Right now, the 49ers are content to use clock and use number 21 to their advantage. Got 7 more.
8-man front saying you're not allowed to run on us.
This time they fake it to him, and Kaepernick now running around and going down. And Chris Long picks up the sack. Michael Brockers helped him. Second sack of the night.
Chris Long is relentless. He's on the tight end, McDonald here. This is a typical Chris Long play. Bench presses the tight end. Now here comes a fullback and a guard. Eyes on the quarterback. I'm being held. I'm still going to fight through, and I'm going to get there. So was it a coverage sack? Yeah, but without the effort and the ability of Chris Long, it doesn't happen.
You take away the beard and a different haircut, and it's Howie 30 years ago, right?
Didn't I tell him that at the table the other day? It's freaky for me to look at him because Howie's an old and dear friend of mine.
Kaepernick hit as he throws and incomplete. Brockers got pressure again, and Rodney McLeod tried a diving attempt at an interception. 49ers 3 and out the last 4 series.
You know, we got done our meeting with Chris Long yesterday, and I said, Chris, I have to tell you that looking across the table at you, I see your father, who 30 years ago was my recruit at Boston College.
Right.
And then we were roommates in the blue-gray game, and it's really amazing to see this kid and knowing in a couple of weeks we're going to see that same jawline in Chicago with his brother Kyle, who's the starting right guard for the Bears.
Met Chris's new bride last night with Mom Diane, with Howie and Megan. Davon Austin giving ground to try to gain some, and it's not going to work again.
Nice job by Eric Reed, the first-round pick on the punt team.
This isn't Morgantown anymore. 11:44 remaining. 49ers with a big lead here in this NFC West clash. We were talking before the break about friends in our business and Howie Long. We would also like to send our condolences to the family of ESPN's Chris Berman. Chris's dad, James, passed away this week. He was 89. Boomer, we're thinking about you.
Absolutely.
Here's a little slip screen out to Austin, and still they can't shake him loose. Only a 4-yard pickup. Second half has been horrendous for Sam Bradford. Trying to get something going here. Trying to get some tempo. Trying to do anything to get some big chunks of yardage and get back in the football game. And now he has it knocked away. It's scooped up by one of his linemen. No, it's still loose. 49ers trying to get to it, and they do. It'll be 1st and goal, San Francisco. So the problems continue.
Yeah, it's left guard Chris Williams this time.
And Bowman again was the guy that caused it.
Former first-round pick. Watch the left guard right in here. Slides out to the linebacker. Spin move by Bowman, who's had a monster game.
Wow.
Great strip by him. Ball's kicked. Dobbs had no idea what to do. He was a tight end and a defensive tackle at Georgia. You would think he could have picked it up.
Well, they still cover it at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal, 49ers.
DeMarcus Dobbs, you could have been a hero.
So an interception that Bradford threw his first of the year, or his first, I should say, against San Francisco, led to a touchdown, and now his fumble might do the same thing. Down close is Dixon. Ogletree made the stop. Anthony Dixon out of Mississippi State had it down inside the 1-yard line. Reminder for you, next week we'll be in Cleveland. Bills and the Browns. Starting things off with total access at 6 Eastern time.
Trent Richardson trade really interesting. Michael Lombardi, I think, wanting to build through the draft. A couple of first-round picks and a lot of conversations about a quarterback, possibly.
Extra lineman basically playing fullback, and a walk-in for Anthony Dixon.
Yeah.
1-yard touchdown.
And Kilgore, the lineman, crushed the outside linebacker Ogletree, and that's why he's in there. Arms might put 9 or 10 offensive linemen in there if he could figure a way to hand it to somebody. Right here, watch the kick out block. Ogletree trying to get low. No, and then he just a little push at the end because you can.
Lupati got a nice block too, and it's a walk-in for Dixon. Dawson's extra points. A little over 10 minutes left. Makes it 28-3. Again, Navarro Bowman's been a nightmare for Sam Bradford. Couple of sacks, forced fumble there. It's been that kind of night for the Rams quarterback. Now, before last week, Jim Harbaugh had never lost back-to-back games as an NFL head coach. He's going to stop that string tonight as his 49ers are dominating the Rams here in St. Louis. Fired up after that last touchdown by Dixon, and it followed again another turnover. Haven't lost 3 in a row since 2010.
Fiery guy, man. His players love him.
You know, last guy that had gone longer in his NFL coaching career without back-to-back losses before Jim Harbaugh?
Who?
Our own Steve Mariucci. 38 career games before Mariucci. Lost a couple in a row. Not a bad record.
No.
1-yard line for Benny Cunningham.
Oh, look at Ventrone again. 41. Follow the hair. Big hit, Bubba.
Well, we got to look back and look ahead. Mike, what have you seen in the last 3 weeks?
Well, here's what I want to see this week is Arizona, Tampa Bay. They're going to start the rookie 3rd-round pick, Lennon, 6'7". Can he pick it up quickly? Chicago at Detroit, will it be a long day? Kyle Long, brother of Chris, is going to be up against Ndamukong Suh and Fairleigh all day long. And then Ryan Tannehill and Rob Ryan, 2 undefeated teams. I'm intrigued by that game.
That one's Monday night. Dolphins looking good. Saints looking to come back from the off-season last year without their coach. And looking sharp so far this season with him back.
Ahmad Brooks there. Yeah, how about New Orleans, right? Rob Ryan comes in, they're averaging 12.7 points allowed per game, number 5 in the league.
Oh! Bradford, again, had to put it in a tight window and couldn't do it. Terrell Brown broke that one up. A little bit surprising when you look at some of the undefeated teams. Who thought Kansas City was going to be 3-0 after winning 2 games last year? Patriots have had to do it with a lot of defense and a lot of question marks. I don't think there's any question about the Denver Broncos.
Right. And then we get Miami and New Orleans playing Monday night, as you mentioned. And Seattle may be the class of the entire league with an intriguing game at Houston. I always think they're a little bit more vulnerable on the road than they are at home.
We've got the Bears coming up down the road against the Giants on Thursday night action. And Richardson hasn't been able to run the ball, so they swing it out to him, and he got 8 yards that time.
Navarro Bowman, I think, is a candidate. I don't even know what's going to happen the rest of the weekend, but to me, he's got to be a candidate for the Defensive Player of the Week. With Patrick Willis out of the game, he's taken this defense on his shoulder. He's blitzed. He's been in the run game. He's been in the pass game. He's strip sacked. That cat has done everything you could possibly ask, and he's just waiting for his buddy Patrick to join him.
Hecker's kick. Kyle Williams calls for a fair catch. Maybe would have had room to navigate through some traffic with that one, but a 57-yard punt again, and 49ers will take over around their own 15-yard line here in St. Louis, where the 49ers controlling this football game. 20 years of NFL experience between those two guys. They played against each other in college. Anquan Bolden on the left at Florida State, Frank Gore, Miami on the right. And the two wily old veterans have had huge nights tonight for the 49ers.
They've been fun to watch, Ness.
Sure have. Time for some of the other guys to get a look. Flags fly in. Might have a holding call. Kendall Hunter on the carry. Reminder, don't forget to stick around. Total Access post-game show immediately following our game tonight. Rich and Dion, Marshall, Steve, and Kurt will be live on the field breaking down the action, complete with highlights and player interviews. There's Coach Mariucci. Just talked about him a moment ago.
The mayor. Dude could be mayor of San Francisco if he wanted.
This lady wants a smooch from Mooch.
What lady wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly. So the holding call takes it back to the 8-yard line. And Ray Armstrong with a collision with Kendall Hunter.
It was pretty cool at halftime when they had the Rams down on the field, and an opportunity to see some of our guys down there on the field, like Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk, who meant so much to this franchise when Coach Vermeil took them to the Super Bowl and won it.
Marshall's number up in the rafters here at the Edward Jones Dome.
As well it should be. Greatest show on turf, right?
Absolutely. Anthony Dixon back in there, the guy that scored the last 49er touchdown. And he'll get the carry. They're going to take it wide. Run out of bounds. Joe Staley was out there trying to lead the way for him.
Watched the Green Bay game first week when they scored 34, and I went back to see why they looked good and then struggled the last two. And the first thing that jumped out at me was Joe Staley blocking Clay Matthews. I thought had a phenomenal game. What they call a quick set. He kept quick setting the linebacker, getting his hands on him. Staley's a true pro, former first rounder from Central Michigan.
That offensive line's done a whale of a job tonight.
Yeah.
And then when they put the extra lineman in there, it's been even better, including their last touchdown, which was a walk-in by Dixon. Low snap handled by Kaepernick. Kendall Hunter And he backpedals his way out for what looks like a first down. It will be. Let's check in with Alex.
You guys talking about Joe Staley, the first player in Central Michigan history to be drafted in the first round of the NFL. He came to college, though, as a 250-pound tight end. They needed an offensive lineman there. Brian Kelly did, and especially an athletic offensive lineman with his high-tempo offense that Kelly was running there. At first, he said he was worried about his blocking ability. 65 pounds heavier now than he was back in college, Mike. And Paul Longo, largely responsible, the strength and conditioning coach there, for getting that weight on him. Mike and I know Paul from Notre Dame.
Up to 315 now in his 7th year. And the ball's on the ground. And the Rams have it. They do. It looks like Ray Armstrong on the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, it was a low handoff, I think. I thought he put it on his hip. See if we can see where this ball gets handed off for Hunter. I thought he put it on his hip. See right there? I don't know, he might have dropped it before it got there. Yeah, it slides out of his hand. He throws it at it. Throws it at him.
Well, this is going to be one of the deeper penetrations into 49er territory for the Rams at the 24-yard line.
There's Selleck and Chris Long. Selleck can pray all he wants, but he's never going to win that fight against Chris Long.
Bradford crossing route, gets it to Pettis. Pettis picks up about 7 on the play. So 49ers have had a couple of miscues. They've had 2 turnovers in their own territory tonight. And let's see if the Rams can quickly take advantage of this one with a touchdown. So far haven't been able to get in the end zone. Bradford throws, caught. Going to be a first down around the 13-yard line.
You know, Will Hoyt this time comes on the blitz, and they're just feasting on this Darrell Richardson, who's only 206 pounds. Watch what happens here. Here comes Will Hoyt. Great collision, but he's not going to win that battle. And I think Fangio's done a great job recognizing and isolating.
End zone, caught.
Great catch. Oh, we're going to get, oh no.
No, he's okay apparently. Got a flag. I thought he had it for a second.
I think this is going to be on a defenseless receiver. Remember now, he's extended. He's now officially defenseless. You got to use, he's trying to use his shoulder pad again, but if he's defenseless, you cannot go above the shoulders, regardless of how you hit him. If he's defenseless, offensive player, your elbow, your forearm, your shoulder, your helmet cannot go above the shoulder pad.
And even though he turned his body to try to avoid doing that, still a penalty, and it's 1st and goal at the 6.
He got one last week on the first snap of the game against Indy that I thought was as clean a hit as there could be. I thought that was a poor call. This one I tend to agree with.
Bradford, quick throw to the end zone, and now it is a touchdown. Lance Kendricks, the tight end.
Yeah, Kendricks is a part tight end, part wide receiver out of Wisconsin. Kind of a bulked up former wide receiver. Going to read it. Sees zone, squats it down, moves away from Bavaro. Bradford puts it on him.
So the first touchdown of the night took the Rams until 5:44 remained. And now they're going to go for 2 here. To try to get it to a 17-point game.
Going for the deucer, huh?
Cunningham got in there, I think, unless the ball came out.
Yeah.
And he did get in.
Bowman not happy with the call, but the side judge gave it immediately. This is a good hard run by Cunningham here. Drops the pad level, stretches over.
He's definitely in.
Yeah. That'll be looked at, but he sure looks like he was in.
So 28-11 with 5:44.
Ness, looking back on last week, here's some lessons I learned. That game we did, the Chiefs are going to push the pocket. Tom Bahali one side, Houston the other. He had 4.5 sacks, and Poe pushes up the middle. No escape. You put on the tape, Dallas last week against St. Louis. DeMarcus Ware is still dominant. His quickness off the edge, his toughness, his strength. predominant defensive edge rusher in the game. And the Colts, hey, you know, you think Andrew Luck, you think pass game. This is not a finesse team. They lined up against the same 49ers squad a week ago, went toe-to-toe, 13-7, middle of the fourth quarter, and they dominated the line of scrimmage. So I really like the way the Colts are put together.
Tell you what, if DeMarcus keeps playing like that and DeMarco keeps running the ball like that, Dallas might be pretty good after all.
Yeah, that was as good as I've seen them play on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And you know what I really liked is Tony Romo didn't have to do everything. Right. You know, the offensive line dominated. They ran the football. He was efficient.
Here comes the onside kick from Hecker, and it hit a 49er before it went 10 yards. I think it hit Miller, the fullback, in the leg. And it goes out of bounds around the 42. Don't forget, next Thursday night, hope you join us in Cleveland. Young quarterback, E.J. Manuel, new quarterback for Cleveland, at least for this week.
Yeah.
Hope you join us. C.J. Spiller and company. C.J. back, should be healthy and in the lineup for this weekend's game before next Thursday. 8 o'clock Eastern. Alex and Mike and I will be there. Hope you join us.
I spent 4 days in August going to those two training camps back to back. Kind of fun watching that young quarterback, E.J. Manuel. He can rip it. He's a big, strong, athletic guy. They got a linebacker named Kiko Alonso in the second round. Another aggressive, tough kid. I just think they're good young teams that we're going to like down the road.
Kendall Hunter close to a horse collar out there. Maybe it was. Janoris Jenkins, flags fly in at the end of the play.
Yeah, when you see that head snap, you think either horse collar or you think face mask.
Personal foul.
And there's the face mask on the front, and it might even be a
15 yards added to the end of the run.
Man,
first
that's
down.
a bad one.
Yeah.
Not that there's any good ones.
Yeah, right.
So the Rams can't get close on the onside kick, and then they give up 15 more, and all of a sudden the 49ers are down in scoring territory almost again at the 26-yard line. Kaepernick taking his time, using as much of the play clock as he can. Or giving it off to Hunter. Hunter just puts his head down, gets inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. These guys, a lot of respect for each other.
If I'm Selleck, I'm making up too.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Well, you know, here's the Rams now, Mike. They're going to go to 1-3. No teams last year made the playoffs after starting 1-3, so we knew how big this was for these two teams. It looks like the 49ers are back in the kind of groove almost that they did against the Packers.
I kind of feel like, you know, we go to too many extremes in the media today, and we were all, including me, on the Kaepernick bandwagon. Then they lose a couple games. What's wrong with the 49ers? Well, they're beat up. They don't have their people. You know, they put this game, Brad, on the backs of their offensive and defensive lines. They got physical. And what's really interesting to me is people forget that Crabtree and Manningham are in the pup, right? They're physically unable to perform. After 6 weeks, if healthy, they can be brought back. And you get pretty much from week 6 to week 12 to make a decision whether to activate them. So as this season goes on, you better get them now, because they're just going to get better and better and better.
And Patrick Willis won't be out too much longer, and it seemed like there was 3 Navarro Bowmans out there tonight. Next week, the 49ers will have their hands full taking on the Texans. And the Jaguars, they've got problems of their own. They'll take on the Rams here.
And you look at St. Louis, and they've got to find a way to make a play on offense. They've got to get some chunk yards. It's painful to watch them try to grind it out and not be able to run the football. Selleck.
Number 80 in the offense, 5-yard penalty.
Didn't want to run into Chris Long one more time.
Third down.
Well, it'll be a happy flight for the 49ers, and when you play on Thursday night and you win, you get sort of a mini bye week, and everybody's happy. It's going to be some long faces at the Rams headquarters when they get back to work.
Ready!
sweep. Hunter trying to cut it up and does. Kendall Hunter heading to the end zone. He's gone. Touchdown. Nice run. 29 yards.
Well, I'll tell you, just kind of an old school sweep. Adam Snyder's in at right tackle. He jumped out there. They did it out of a tight bunch.
Snyder's going to like the film this week, isn't he?
I think he is. They're in a tight bunch, little toss sweep. Here comes Snyder. The good cut by Hunter. All the way back against the grain. Makes two people miss with bad angles. Picks up a block from a wide receiver, Kasim Osgood, who's also an excellent special teams player.
Extra point up and good. So tonight the 49ers got 2 touchdowns off turnovers, and then failing on a onside kick turns into 7 more for Kendall Hunter on a 29-yard touchdown run. They only had to go 42 yards in 4 plays, and so now the route is on. And a long night for Chris Long and James Laurinaitis and the rest of the Rams defense.
If you're a 49ers fan, you might have noticed in the first half, Quinton Patton, the wideout, went out of the game, their 4th-round pick. They only have 4 wide receivers, and look at those numbers tonight. That just tells the story in the rush game. But Kyle Williams, Anquan Bolden are both up, obviously. Jonathan Bolden activated for the first time tonight. Kasim Osgood is mostly a special teams player, so until they get Crabtree and or Manningham back, they're going to be thin at the wide receiver position.
Coming into the night, the 49ers, there were only 3 teams in the NFL that had scored less and only 7 teams that had surrendered more. And those statistics will get turned around tonight with a 24-point lead with 4:25 to go. Cunningham's not going to bring this one out.
You know, Brad, sometimes I think guys deserve a pat in the back, game ball, and to me, the offensive line coaches, the 2 of them for San Francisco, Mike Solari, who's been around forever, Tim Drevno, the 2 of them combined, and I think we talked at the top of the show. Let's see if they can get physical, back to the future, reestablish their identity, and I think they did a great job with that tonight.
Did they ever?
Nice job, Coach.
Rams team looking for big plays tonight. Haven't found any. They have 1 play over 20 yards on the night. And what little crowd is left, I'm surprised. Well, there's so few, I guess, that they didn't want to boo that run. 49er fans are happy. Don't forget, NFL Total Access post-game show. Rich and the guys.
They're going to get Kaepernick? You think they'll get Kaepernick?
I don't know. Hope they have better luck with him than we did last night.
Well, Marshall will get something out of him.
Yeah. And Cunningham out to the 28-yard line. Might be the longest run of the night.
Remember, we were looking through their book the other day and talking about explosive plays, and if you identify an explosive play as a 10-yard run or more, they only had 4 of them in 3 games, and the longest one was Sam Bradford at, I believe, 21 or 23 yards.
Yep.
They're really struggling to get chunk gains in the pass or the run game.
I think that was against the Falcons on a scramble.
Right.
3rd and short, quick slant, and almost picked off by Tremaine Brock. Let's check in with Alex.
So Colin Kaepernick, you guys hopefully getting to our NFL Network set after this game, and I have a sneaky feeling that he might be in a little bit of a better mood than we saw him. So all smiles down here. He just walked, as you talked about, his offensive line and the award that they deserve tonight. He just gave him high fives, gave Joe Staley, his left tackle, a big hug, and they all kind of exchanged pleasantries. Happy for him, and happy, of course, that this offense has gotten back on track.
Winning takes care of everything, doesn't it?
It's John Madden used to say it's the best deodorant.
It sure is.
It takes care of a lot of the stinky things, man.
Hecker, this is his 11th punt of the night. Wow. And it's a beauty. I'll give him that much. And this one's going to dive for him down inside the 15, around the 12-yard line. 49ers now having been successful on the road tonight. This is what the road ahead looks like.
Now, Ness, after the at Tennessee right here, that's when those two wideouts become PUP eligible. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to be eligible then, but depending on their rehab, after the first 6 games, you can activate or have a player practice at that point, and you have a 3-week period where you can identify whether or not you want him to practice. Once he starts to practice, you have another 3 weeks to activate him.
And that'll make a huge difference in the offense with Crabtree and Manningham, the 2 wideouts. But even just the difference of Vernon Davis not at 100%. He caught a touchdown pass tonight, and at least you can't double team Anquan Bolden on every snap.
Exactly right. And Bolden got a lot of single coverage tonight.
And Hunter, another nice run on the inside. Armstrong makes the tackle. Back to Alex.
So Brad and Mike, one player that we don't know about his return to this team is Aldon Smith. Of course, he's taking an indefinite leave of absence after a DUI arrest last Friday. We don't know a lot about his return. We don't know a lot about whether or not the NFL will at some point suspend him, but I did speak to 49ers owner Jed York tonight, who reminded me that the 49ers are approaching the bigger picture in this situation, which is to help a young player get healthy. And Mike, you might remember the 49ers offensive lineman Alex Boone, coming out of Ohio State, was pretty publicly open about his problems with alcoholism. And so as it turns out, Aldon Smith at some point could have a mentor on this team that shows him that you can overcome the problems that he's been struggling with and be successful with it in this league.
Well said, Alex, and we wish Aldon the best.
Really a good point, Alex, and obviously such a young kid, and their thoughts and prayers are with him.
Well, 49ers just 2 minutes away from their 2nd win of the season. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by John Hancock. Ask your advisor about our different approach. And by Burger King, where taste is king. Let's check in with Rich Eisen. Rich?
Well, Brad, I'm still walking and talking like it's a one-possession game, and we're getting set for an entertaining post-game show. That's the type of professionals that we are. Plus, we'll be your best friend if you stay tuned.
All right, we will. We'll be there in 2 minutes. Well, Michael James and Colt McCoy is in at quarterback.
Laurinaitis again.
Still making tackles.
You want to talk about a professional. Somebody's hurt down there. I hope that's, and he's screaming. Staley?
It's Joe Staley.
Oh, gosh.
Oof. Just talking about him a couple of minutes ago.
He got bent backwards by Eugene Sims, and all kinds of bodies were falling on him. It was... and people might be saying, why is he still in there? You only have 7 active offensive linemen. The other 2 are already in.
You know, things are not good when both coaches and players from both teams are huddled around. Joe Staley, going to see him, and he gets bent backwards at the end of the play so many times in all that collision on the inside. Legs don't go that far that way.
And Ness, I want to reiterate, because I know a lot of people are saying, why is he in the game when the score is 35-11? There's only 7 active offensive linemen for most teams. That's all they had up tonight. Daniel Kilgore and Adam Snyder have already been in the game. So it's just an unfortunate accident, and I'm happy he's walking off.
Talk about a tough guy. They brought the cart out, and Joe sort of waved him off.
Yeah, I got this.
I got this.
Right.
So, timeout taken inside the 2-minute mark. And the coaches back to their respective sidelines. It's 4th down, and the 49ers getting ready to punt. This is going to be the 18th punt of the football game between the 2 teams. Close to Lee, but he got it out of there. And Austin got a back pedal to take a fair catch around the 25-yard line. 56-yard kick. Punters have been busy, and they've been effective, both of them as well. Don't forget Cleveland next week. Bills and the Browns. some teams with some young talent.
Yeah.
And they'll show us what they're all about. There's two happy guys. Colin Kaepernick that threw a touchdown pass to Vernon Davis, who missed the game last week. Came in, he and Anquan Boldin both with touchdown passes from Kaepernick tonight.
Boldin saw a lot of single coverage tonight, which he always welcomes.
And then this guy set the table for everything.
That's exactly right, man.
And Rams, Sam Bradford takes a knee as they've conceded this one. And facts, the folks that are still here showing their displeasure with the Rams, who fall to 1-3. San Francisco gets closer to Seattle, moving up a rung on the NFC West ladder. Well, I think after that last play with Joe Staley, Jeff Fisher's thinking, you know what? Let's get out of here without anybody else getting hurt.
No, I've got zero problem with this. Game's over.
Right.
Let's not get anybody hurt.
There's no 24 points you can score in a minute.
Beware.
So one more knee.
Yep.
And that'll do it. So without Patrick Willis, the 49ers come on the road and are successful behind their veterans. Bowman, the linebacker, had a huge night. Gore, one of his best rushing nights in a long time. And Anquan Boldin and Vernon Davis on touchdown catches from Kaepernick. That's going to do it. 49ers are 2-2. Relatively easy win tonight. We're going to be back with a Total Access post-game show featuring highlights, analysis, interviews, and press conferences, so stay with us.